From the Superbook.com sports desk, it's 6 o'clock. I'm Jonathan Schaefer. The Braves defeated the Nationals yesterday 5-4, winning the opener of a 4-game set in Washington. Michael Harris II, Matt Olson, and Dansby Swanson homered for Atlanta.
Hit high and deep to left field. That is way back towards the seats. 2-0 Braves. A home run by Dansby Swanson. That's how you break out of an 0 for your last 10.
Atlanta has won 5 of its last 7 and leads the National League with 142 home runs. To golf, American Cameron Young leads the tournament at 8 under. He is set to tee off his second round around 7:30 this morning. Tiger Woods went 6 over in the first round, needs a strong performance today to make the cut. To the NBA, the Phoenix Suns matched the Indiana Pacers' 4-year, $133 million offer sheet for restricted free agent center DeAndre Ayton. And to the NFL, offensive tackle Mitchell Schwartz, a 4-time All-Pro selection, announced his retirement from the NFL after 9 seasons. He won Super Bowl 54 with the Kansas City Chiefs. For Roy Foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening? Welcome in, J Mart and Ramon, 1045 The Zone. We're glad to be here with you for the next 4 hours. Josh Ward from Knoxville. We'll talk SEC Media Days and just SEC in general, college football with him. And Jim Wyatt.
Jimmy.
This will be the last day, I think, of the Fowler lists.
Is it who's dropping today? Safety?
Today's all the offensive tackles.
Tackles. Yeah, we already did safeties. Okay, yeah.
So that's it.
Fowler's going off until the season starts, right?
Now he just goes back into a bunker.
Yeah.
I've done my thing.
Goes
I've
back to
given
the tanning
sports.
bed.
I've given sports media 10 days.
Here you guys go.
He does not need to go back to the tanning bed.
He's got a good shine on.
You remember his stepbrother is like, I lather these up with orange peels? That's what his face looked like sometimes.
He needs to ease up.
Lathered up with orange.
He's fine.
What's the Hawaiian, what is it? The sun tanning lotion? The brown stuff, the bronzer. That one. He used that often.
Probably uses cocoa butter, too.
That smells good.
Good stuff, man.
That smells good.
You reptilious.
Shout out to Vic. I know some people don't like that. Shout out to Vic.
Hey, last Christmas we bought a fake Christmas tree.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, guy behind the counter said, "Are you going to put it up yourself?" My dad said, "Don't be disgusting. I'm going to put it in the living room."
Dad joke Friday.
I forgot. Dad joke Friday. What can I muster up around here, Jay? Do you tell these to CG? That's the real question. Or to your wife?
Depends on, I'd tell my wife. And sometimes she looks at me like,
Oh.
"It's a good thing I like this ring."
At his house, it's called Pillow Talk.
It's gonna be a little tough. By the way, last Friday we had folks over our house, just relatives and stuff, and my cousin brought up the fact, I heard some of the jokes, and Keisha, my wife's like, it couldn't have been that funny. I'm like, you have no idea. So I'm reeling them off, okay, just telling jokes at the house. And she's trying not to laugh. She's like, okay, that's so stupid. It's actually hilarious. And we were just going back and forth and it became everybody in the house pretty much finding dad jokes and letting them ride, Jay.
Was she describing the jokes or this show in general?
She was talking about me, I think.
I think it's about right.
I think that was me.
The Music City musical.
Yeah. Was that Jason or me right there?
That was you.
That was me?
I've got my own soundboard of mistakes.
Oh,
That's it.
yeah!
That's the one.
That's not a mistake. That's a gem. That's a gem.
So let me ask you this, man. So yesterday, Keisha and I said we're not getting each other gifts, but I can't resist myself, okay? I ended up, I'm a gifter, and it was 10 years. I'm like, this is a 5, 10, 15, okay, 20. Like, we got to celebrate these things. We were celebrating like a lot, like buying gifts. What do we get next? Was a situation. So we were just like, all right, we'll get nothing. And I still got something. And let me ask you this. I ended up getting her a nice belt yesterday, a Gucci belt. Okay. She's always wanted one. She's like, man, I want a nice belt, when we go out, or I just want a nice belt, is what she said. And this was like probably February-ish. It was a while back. And I was just trying to figure out, what can I get her? It's 10 years. I got to do something. And I was like, the belt. So I'm sitting around like maybe 2 weeks ago, actually. And I was just like, man, babe, in like terms of numbers, what size pants do you wear?
No.
I was just like, is yours?
Oh no.
Is yours different from like the way the men's like number scale is? Like, how do y'all do it? I was like, what would you wear? And she ended up giving me the numbers, and I'm on the website trying to find the correlating belt size and whatnot. And so yesterday I deliver her gift to her. And I'm having, she's all surprised and giddy and everything. She's like, why did you go get this? And I was like, well, this is what you said. And I'm feeling really good about myself and my gift giving, because I feel like I give good gifts. And I think, Jason, that she was actually caught off.
Right.
Like, I actually got her.
Right.
I had people that was telling me, nah, Mom, that's just how they work. They make you feel like you actually knew something, and they made you feel good about a decision you made.
But they actually knew what they were doing all along for the setting the stage for all of this. Is that the idea we're getting at here?
No, I'm just asking you.
Calculated moves.
Do you think they're that calculated, man? Or women? Do you think my wife knew that I was getting her that belt properly? Or like me asking her pant size was like, idiot, I know exactly what you're asking for.
Well, yeah, if you asked the pant size, then she knew.
You think she knew?
The first part of it, I'm not exactly sure she thought that was happening now.
Yeah.
But she was definitely planting a seed.
Oh,
CG went to this church thing, this Monday Fun Day.
Okay.
And planted seeds, and we've got the seeds now in our window.
Oh, yeah.
And she actually apparently helped. The name's like, yeah, she helped. She put the seeds in. She put a sticker on it and all this kind of stuff. It's just like, so she planted a seed and it's in your window. Yeah. We didn't know if it was going to be anniversary, Christmas, birthday, or something, but she wanted to make sure that she just dropped a hint. It'd be nice. And then you're just like, oh, she'll never think of this. Oh, no, she thought of it because she told you that the first time.
Did I get got, Jay?
You may have gotten got.
I got? Absolutely no way, dog. Like, the surprise, and they're not. Are we that dumb? Are men that just off? I nailed it. Okay, I nailed it. Look at this. Cousin Hightower saying, absolutely, Ramon. Cousin Ron, I tried to get a smart card the other day. Oh, that's a dad.
You know what she did?
Yeah.
She did a bless your heart.
No, she didn't, Shafe. I was actually that good. I want to believe I was actually that good. You can't give ladies hints, man.
You can believe whatever you want to believe. Doesn't make it true.
Look at the comments, though. Hook, line, and sinker, man. Come on, y'all. Frostbite, declare Huxtable effect. I got her a great gift, okay? And she had no idea. I'm leaning on that today.
It makes the gift no less great. Just means that she got herself a gift with your time and effort.
That she wanted. And she sold me on it too, Jay. She was like, and it's reversible. She was like, and it's reversible. I didn't get got. Come on, Jay.
You got got.
Shafe.
Yep. Yeah, you got got.
I got got.
Yep.
You definitely got.
Look, it's funky in a nice way. I couldn't have. I thought I was good, fellas. She sold me.
Nobody said you weren't good.
So
you can be good and still get got.
I can be both. I can't be the only guy here like this, Jay. I knew I sold this one and I was good, and she had no idea because we said we weren't going to do gifts, and I did it anyway.
Well, like I said, how long ago did she mention the belt?
The belt was probably like February sometime.
Okay. All right. See, like I said, I think it was just setting the stage to make sure when the future came, when it was time to buy a gift, that one came to mind. I don't think it was got to get you a gift for this occasion when you guys said you weren't going to gift. You may have caught her off guard with the timing.
Okay.
Right up until you asked her pants size.
This was 2 weeks ago.
The minute you asked her pants size, she's like, oh, it's about time for that belt, isn't it?
Cousin Danny in the chat, who him and I never agree on anything, says, Moan trying to convince himself. Yes, Danny, I agree with you on that.
Fucking Cheese Man said, nope. What do you say? Nope, sure can't hide. I've been trying to hint to my girl. I'm sick of her. She don't get it. In a nice way. Oh, wow. She knows that. Thank you, Sally. I did good. You know her reaction? If
Again,
it was good.
you did good. You did well, but you still got.
I actually thought I won. I did win, but she knew still, is what y'all are telling me. I got to get a little bit more crafty, dog. I felt good about it, though. I did. And it was the appropriate size and everything.
A Russian couple
Yeah.
walks down a street in Moscow. Man feels a drop hit his nose. He says, I think it's raining. Says that to his wife. His wife says, no, that feels like snow to me, dear. Just then a minor Communist Party official walks towards him. Let's not fight about it. The man says, let's ask Comrade Rudolph whether it's officially raining or snowing. It's raining, of course, Comrade Rudolph says and walks on. But the woman insists, I know that felt like snow, to which the man quietly says, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Rain, dear.
Boy, it took a while to get to that one.
Well, it's a thinker. It's a.
I understand, but I wasn't
joke that
planning on
gets
us
to
having
that.
to go the whole way around the barn for it.
Well, there it was. Dad jokes come in all shapes and sizes, Shay. Some belts for others.
What do you think, Klay Thompson?
Hold that.
You're not giving them anything, Shay? Hold that. Oh, yeah.
Hold
It
that.
took a while to get there. Hold that. The oldest trick in the book, man. Y'all, hey, I was solid yesterday on my gift.
My dad once explained the origin of NASCAR to me.
Huh.
Said, want to know how NASCAR got its name? Sure. You know, NASCAR originated in the South. Yeah, well, one day some Southerners are racing cars. Fast car races past a bystander, and bystander goes, damn, that's a NASCAR.
That's it. That's right.
It was the voice.
That's right.
It was the
That's
voice.
the perfect dad joke.
That was a NASCAR.
You tell Liz that one.
Oh, she'll appreciate that.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I'm from Martinsville. I know exactly who said that.
She will appreciate that.
615-737-1045. It is a dad joke Friday because it's a Friday. Josh Ward later. Jim Wyatt later. Jeremy Fowler's list coming to a close later. A lot going on. Tom Brady writing an article basically telling you he's done. And Le'Veon Bell.
Let's
talk a little about that when we come back.
Yeah.
Turns out he realizes he screwed up.
The whole time.
Back in 2018, his teammates were saying, hey, man, I'd really like a belt. And he just bought that belt officially yesterday.
Yes, he did.
The seeds were planted. It's Jay Martin and Mel 104.5 The Zone.
This freaking cloud.
If you're noticing things around the house that just don't seem to make sense, doors and windows sticking, and it doesn't matter if it's really hot outside or really cold outside, you got cracks in those bricks, you can just tell there's something deeper there. You got a Bowen basement wall, the chimney's leaning, steps are sinking, all these signs of a possible foundation issue with your home. When it comes to foundation repair, it's United Structural Systems, and it's nobody else. I've been telling you about them since day one on this program. They've been doing it for way longer than that. Over 25 years right here in Middle Tennessee. This is a locally owned business that just flat out gets it right. They are problem solvers. They come out, they diagnose your problem and tell you what's actually happening. I mean, they come up with something fake to add to some kind of invoice. They're willing to come out and tell you nothing is wrong if nothing is actually wrong, because they'd rather earn your business long term. They'd like for you to, by word of mouth, say, this company treated me right. They care about their customers. And they know the situation's a big one. Sometimes it can be a really big job, and it's not a DIY kind of thing. So they know what they're doing, and you can trust them. What else do you need? Detail-free estimate before you make a decision. No down payments, warranties, even transferable warranties, lifetime repairs guaranteed for the lifetime of your home. They just take the stress out of home repair with financing available if need be as well. Call them today, 615-227-2275. That's 227-2275 or online at ussTN.com. United Structural Systems. Welcome back, J. Martin, Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. Why can't you tell a bean a secret, Shafe?
Don't know.
Because beanstalk.
Let's go.
See,
Today I'm looking for the worst ones I can find.
you said some off air. They were terrible.
The avocado one was horrible.
Yeah, that's not
know.
really a joke, though. That's just not funny.
That was terrible, man. Hey, by the way, you fellas, this is why Ron
Yeah.
Slay is all about Father's Day, okay? This is why he, for a month and a half almost, just climbed to the top of the mountaintop for us, is because we can't stick together. Even the fellas, man, are saying, yeah, man, you got. I'm like, no, convince me that we won yesterday on the gift that I gave my wife, man. She didn't know. I didn't get got. She didn't, what is that, grift me? She didn't do that. She didn't tease me that I did a good job when I know I actually did a good job. It's y'all that's the problem. That's why we can't have great Father Days,
Wait
okay?
a minute, because we have a differing opinion now, you're going to turn the arrow at us.
Did.
Wow.
Yeah. You
Wow.
know-
Damn, cancel culture just hit J. Martin Ramon in here.
You know how many bless your hearts?
Fellas, scrub your Twitter accounts. He's going to go back to 2014 and find something you said.
I'm really shocked. They were just-
Everybody's on notice.
I'm guessing if she'd have handed that Alexis, you'd have bought that too. I'm like, no, man.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I'm like, come on.
Here's the thing, though. If she had hinted at Alexis, you wouldn't have had to ask her about her pant size, and you might have actually still surprised her.
No, come on. Was that a dad joke?
Why did you ask her pant size?
Because I was just wondering.
Yeah,
like,
but you know there's another way.
no, I could have. You're right. I could have went into her closet.
Yeah.
Jay, but the belt size were like in like European sizes, and I was just trying to figure out the numbering system on the spot because I was already on the website. So I was like, let me go do this. And I was in heavy chill mode at that point too. So I was just like, let's start up a conversation. Man, y'all suck. Okay, I'm gonna tell y'all that right now. This is why we can't have nice things. It's because we don't band together like the women do. I'm telling you that right now.
In short, what everybody is telling you, I told you this during the break, because you said everybody's blessing your heart. And I'm
They
just like,
are.
no, what there really is, they're the kid to LeBron.
Good effort.
Good effort. Good job.
No, man. This is good. Like Cousin Brian. Look, here's how you know if she knew or not. Was her face the you shouldn't have with the fake surprise look, or was it genuinely surprised? Now I don't even know.
It doesn't matter, Mo,
But
because
it's the
you'll
fact-
never believe it.
It's the fellas that really got me questioning if I did something good or not. And I'm not okay with this right now. Fellas, we got to stick together on this type of stuff. I bought a good gift. She didn't know about it, and she was genuinely surprised. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I didn't get got right there. I didn't get blessed your heart, and that's okay. I can't believe you guys. Y'all are just out here just choosing violence against men. Men against men is not how we... No, do not slow clap me. Don't y'all dare do that. I'm not the only one out here that did good.
I mean, the one thing you would have really gotten
Butt
wrong.
hurt.
I would rather
it
you
your
asked.
voice?
I would rather you have asked the question than gotten her a belt that's way too big,
Yeah,
because that's a problem.
it would have been.
I assume these fit you. Well, I assume you're not going to be sleeping in the house tonight.
Y'all wrong, man. All right, that's my last spill on that.
But I
one.
will tell you this: I bought Abby some sandals last week.
Okay,
She had no idea
she had no why. How you know?
because I got myself some sandals,
Okay,
and I just saw her look at them a few times. I'm like, I can see if I can get a women's pair. And so I went in the closet and I looked at different pairs of shoes and sandals in particular. Looked at the size and then ordered a pair, and then all of a sudden just brought them to her while she was in bed one night.
no, she knew it the entire time. The way men work, they'll convince you that she knew you were in there looking at that at her shoe size, Jason. So no,
She wasn't
you didn't
home.
surprise her.
She
No,
wasn't home
She
to
got
know.
camera somewhere. There's
Yeah.
a secret camera somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're ready to move on.
Clearly, clearly, we don't know what we're doing as men. Is what
We're
I
ready
got
to
out
move
of
on.
this. Let's just chafe in the back, man.
So a kid says, "Dad, I'm thirsty,"
Okay.
and he responds, "Hi, I'm Friday. Let's go out on Saturday and get a Sunday."
That was actually good. That was a good
I'm sorry.
suggestion right there. Jay and sandals. Yeah. All right, man. Let's
So
get
Le'Veon
to
Bell.
it. Let's get to it.
Sports ball.
That was a challenge.
Look,
of
next
figuring
week's
out,
SEC
though.
Media Days.
It is.
Then here comes camp. We're almost back in the saddle.
We're close.
Today, way out of the saddle. I'm just here to tell you. I know Ward and Wyatt are gonna
Reset us.
are gonna bring the charisma later, but when it comes to just the rest of the show, Charles, go elsewhere today, brother. Go play intramurals, brother. Go play intramurals.
So let me ask you this before we get to Le'Veon. It's like we're teasing it a little bit, man. As far as the SEC Media Days, and maybe you knew, maybe Shafe knew too, but I did 3HL yesterday, and they were talking about, because they're going down, I think, to Media Day, SEC Media Day. Did you know that basketball had a SEC Media Day?
Yeah.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
You knew?
Yeah.
That what?
That what? That
there was an SEC
basketball.
Media Day for basketball.
Yeah.
You knew that?
Yeah.
What time of year is it?
Before the season.
Probably October.
Is it? I had no
I think
clue.
so. That's about right.
That basketball had a media.
You know why?
Why?
Because it's happening during football season.
Yeah, nobody pays attention.
Nobody.
Only the people that cover those teams, like really specifically from the beginning, like the beat reporters that are on the beat for the basketball teams, are there.
I had no idea.
I'm gonna look it up.
I told Ron yesterday. He was like, the men's basketball media, the SEC media. I was like, y'all got one? And I wasn't joking. Like, I wasn't trolling him or anything. I had no idea that the SEC had a men's basketball media day, Jay. It blew my mind. And he looked at me very disappointed, like, you playing right now. I was like, dog, nobody ever talked about the men's basketball SEC media days. Nobody.
SEC Media Days. Was this the basketball? It was held virtually.
Okay.
It was between October 18th and November 5th is generally when the basketball media days happen, which is about what I thought based on when the schedule starts. It was going to be held. Let's see. Originally, it was going to be held. I'm trying to find the actual date, but generally speaking, it's happening right in the throes of football season.
See, this is the comment. Mr. Cable said basketball media day lasts 2 hours tops. And that's really what Ron said yesterday. He was like, when he went to, I guess they went last year for SEC Media Day, and he was just like,
3HO went to SEC Media Days last year.
They did. And he was just like, man, it was 2 floors. He was like, the ones for the basketball is only on like 1 level. I was like, really? He was like, he was shocked that it's so big of an event.
Because outside of Kentucky, basketball is just
nobody
that sport
cares.
you play to stay in shape after football.
That's what I was.
Let's
in
be
high
real
school.
about
It's
this.
one so you don't end up just specializing in one and getting yourself hurt.
Yeah.
I really was today's. I was
Basketball's
yesterday's
just the
years
football
old.
coaches saying, hey, keep your cardio up during the off season. That's all this is.
Were you a part of my recruiting process?
No, I just covered high school sports for a while back in the day. This is
exactly
how it worked.
My senior year, listen to me, Shafe. I was so just not interested in basketball. I was already committed and everything. I hadn't signed yet, but like basketball was really just a tool for me to just stay in shape and go on rides so I wouldn't be at home on like Thursday and Friday nights. That's what it was.
I would
for.
not have wanted to play you in the post.
Man, I was banging folks like for real. Like that's all I wanted to do. Especially
Phrasing.
when I realized
Phrasing.
All right, Venables. When I knew basketball wasn't my thing, like there was no 6'6" centers in the NBA or college, really. I was like, yeah, I'm going to just beat people up in the paint. That's all I'm going to do. So, yeah, I just banged folks like for game
All right,
after
Phrasing.
now you know what.
Phrasing.
Yeah, you telegraphed that one, and then you gave us the belt, man.
Phrasing.
You just gave us a belt.
So don't come on, man. We supposed to stick together, and you're using the belt right now as a shaming point for
I'm
us.
surprised.
Can we
that,
revisit part of this? You talk about us sticking together. Quit saying stupid stuff.
What, banging in the post? That's what you do.
dog.
That's what you call it. That's what Charles Barkley did. Patrick Ewing, and that's what the big guys do. We bang in the post.
Bleep you, Remote Foster.
But
So Le'Veon Bell's focusing on boxing.
yeah.
He's going to shift away from football, not playing in the NFL this year.
Yeah, he wrote a long note on social media too about that. It was the announcement of that. Does he still have it up? Yes. He basically said he was retiring from the NFL. But it's one part in this. It's the beginning and the end part for me that really gets it. This is what he says on his post, which was posted 2 days ago. The NFL has done great things for me, and I truly appreciate every single year of my NFL journey. Obviously, a Mike Tomlin word, by the way, they use often. We, whoever. This is where you realize that his business side involved a lot of moving parts, and he don't want to take full blame for it. He's kind of pushing it off on other people that probably had a say in it, but he's putting everybody in this. He says, we, whoever is in parentheses, wish things would have played out differently in 2018. Like if I legit had a time machine to go back to 2018, that would be so lit for so many reasons, but I don't. And all we can do is keep moving forward with life. And life has taught me a lot of valuable lessons and formed me into the person I am today. I had moments in the last 6 to 7 years or so where it felt as if I was on top of the world. I could do no wrong, and I loved every minute of it. And there's also been moments where I felt alone, betrayed, disrespected, or used. And he goes on and on and on and on to get to the point to where he's saying he's going to take sport. He's shifting his focus to boxing. He's going to take that more serious and basically get your popcorn ready for his boxing career.
The thing that's amazing about that, not about the statements themselves, we can dive into that. He's 30.
Yeah, man.
And he's basically out of the league.
Yeah.
And this was a guy that was top 3 off your fantasy league board like 5 years ago.
Yeah, man.
This was the running back that showed you how you could still be patient, put a hand on the blocker in front of you and wait for the whole
back.
I bet, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had palm prints all over the back of your jerseys.
And just the strain of trying to block for this man.
Yeah, because of waiting.
How long? Like
his patience. He's like, I will wait until you give me something
dog,
before I go.
Ramon on the injury list, back questionable because Le'Veon keeps pushing him.
Yeah. Or I got this 300-pounder pushing up on me, or this linebacker that's downhill, and they got ticked off because he wouldn't make a move. So they would hit us. And I'm like, you want to hit him, don't you? But like you said, top 3 off your fantasy, did improve everything he said he was going to do going into the season.
He could catch it. He could run it. He was a workhorse.
Yeah.
Every time you saw 26, you knew it was going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Every single time. It's interesting because 2 of the 3 Bs didn't hang around.
Mm-hmm.
One of them ended up getting a ring because he fell into Tom Brady. But I would wonder if that hadn't somehow just manifested itself, if he would be doing the same thing right now, saying the same thing behind closed doors.
Oh, yeah.
Shouldn't have got my way out of there. That Raiders thing was not a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
And then since then, all the just histrionics and weird stuff that you've done, and videos and social media and all this, it's just like everything went the wrong way.
Yeah, because they were searching for that thing that put them at the most high, Jay. Was, those say what they want to about our teams and how we really played and got about the season. Like, guys grew up into superstars. You know what I'm saying? Like, the rate in which they just catapulted to the top. And honestly, they did it themselves too, as far as the way they worked, them being the athletes. But I'll say this, and you can kind of push, you push back and you let me know this if I'm wrong. All of that was fine and great and awesome. But it was, and I'm going to say this word, and you're going to be like, what? It was the system. It was the beast of that system. It was the way that team was constructed, as far as the offense, as far as the way we call plays, the way we actually bonded together and grew up together too. Like, and as soon as those pieces went missing, Jay, they fell apart. Like, you look at Le'Veon's journey when the time he set out to the time he went to the Jets. Heck, what he did, 1 calendar year with them, and then he was gone like 4 games into the next season. Like, that's how it turned into it. And it's interesting now on the back end side, 4 years later, hearing him say, if I had a time machine, I'd go back. And at that time, I remember, man, we took so much flack and hate behind that because everybody's in your pocket watching the money, this and that, and you can't tell that man what to do. But internally, you ever been in a position like, man, I know this ain't going to work right here. One, who leaves that much bread on the table? But also at that position, I think guys will probably be a little bit smarter about it right now. Even Derek's situation. Derek has all rights to hold out until he get broke off a little bit more. He does. But at the running back position, That's a hard place or a hard position to actually sit out and not get reps. As much as they get hit and short as their careers are, you can't afford that. And it's hard to come back from it. And Le'Veon, I think, was a telltale sign of it. And not just that, the people around him. I'm sure his agent operates in a way now that says, yeah, I got to put whatever my client's best interest in front of him. And we got to lead with that, even if we don't like it. The guaranteed money, say what you want to about it, it was a huge contract, and he was going to get most of it at the rate and how we were playing. And how we were playing, the fashion that we were playing, and what we were up against also. And then you go from the top of the top to celebrity boxing, Jay. I'm not saying I want to get on this platform and say I was right, but I told people, I was like, this is going to be a situation in which you're going to wish you hadn't left that. And what industry do you know, Jay, other than somebody that's already got $100 million, well, $50+ million or something like that leave 14 on the table? It ain't many that'll do that, right?
Right.
And especially in a hot and cold sport in general. Sports in general are like that. Heck, we went from loving Russell Westbrook to what he's right now. You know what I'm saying? Even though he's getting broke off just out of this world, but what is Russell? What is Kyrie? Although the talent is there, but you go from hot and cold fast in sports. Guys have to be able to have a camp around them, people around them that they trust. And the reason I say people around them, as much as I say you got to leave some of your hangers on off, but he references this by saying, obviously, I, and in parentheses, we, or whoever, you know who they are, you just don't want to call them out. Said, wish things would have played out differently in 2018. There's a lot of people that remember this happening, and a lot of people supported his movement, but a guy like myself that always viewed things on a bigger scale, didn't see that situation working out for him, man. I wish him the best, and we actually talked after the Jets game in which we played him, and everything's all cool, but I just hate it for him because the talent was through the roof. He's like a more healthier Christian McCaffrey. He pretty much laid out the framework for Alvin's role, Kamara. I mean, Le'Veon did it first. It's one of those situations. So I actually thought we see more running backs kind of doing that. And Jonathan Taylor kind of does it. Derrick Henry was picking it up a little bit last year, man. But, yes, as Sally just said, can't be around a bunch of yes men.
No, that's absolutely right. You have to be around people that challenge you. And that doesn't just mean – that means intellectually.
Yeah.
If you just surround yourself with everybody that agrees with everything you say, one, you're never going to get smarter.
No.
But you're never even going to know what the other side of the argument is. So if you ever actually do run into it, you're not going to know how to handle yourself in those scenarios, in those conversations. But, yeah, like you have to be around people that can call you on your crap.
Oh, man.
That's why your friends are the ones that you expect. Like when you sit down and say, hey, man, am I wrong here? What you want them to say is,
yeah, dog.
You need to fix that.
And they can tell you that, and it's like, man, you off base on this.
Right.
One. You know, like there's ways to be real with people.
That's exactly right.
The parentheses of what he said I, we, whoever. That whoever part of it is the people that really probably hurt him in the sense of making that decision. And I told you before, I had conversation with his agent and said, yeah, we kind of messed that up. That's basically what the conversation was. If I could go back, we do that over. And he's still got clients, and I guarantee you to this day, he's taking those guys that he has now and really trying not to be that agent that he was in 2018.
Is it fair to say about that situation that they were more obsessed about the guaranteed money than looking at the opportunity and quality of the franchise?
They were.
Remember what I gave Cowherd credit for because I thought it was a brilliant statement. Don't chase the money, chase management.
And so the management part of it, though, Pittsburgh has always been a place that never really gave a whole lot of guarantee.
Right.
But if you look at guys that sign, even myself, most everybody got about 80% of their deal. And in the NFL world, that's really good. I've seen Hall of Famers like Troy get like 40% guaranteed, where you got Harold Landry get over 50%. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at what AJ got, over 50% guaranteed. But the majority of the guys, if you don't crash out, and nobody really did because the system, they go with what they know, you're getting about 80% of that deal before either you got to restructure or, you're on another team at that point. And that may say, well, you get the whole 100%. You ain't in that person's shoes. And I don't think his agent looked at the history of how they did deals to really kind of give, him the best advice.
Right.
It is what it is.
Look, Open Championships happening right now. Dustin Johnson's in a tie for the lead at 8 under. I think Tiger, last time I looked, was 15 shots back. But Liv is a key example here. A lot of guys did chase the money. I don't know what the management of Liv is. I don't know what Liv is in 2 years. I don't understand. Like, that's the risk that you take. Is in that case, I can understand because of the amount of money why it would be hard to pass it up in the short term. Because even if you do it for a year, you might be set for life and you're done at that point in time if you wanted to be. But who has a better ownership management structure?
PGA.
Live Golf or the PGA?
PGA.
It's not close.
Right.
Like, maybe you left the Steelers right there. And you don't exactly know what Liv's going to be a year from now. And maybe that has harmed your reputation. And maybe you don't care, but you should know going in that there is a difference in situation here.
It's funny with sports, man, because it's always ever changing. That's the thing about it, Jay. You know, sports is always ever changing. We were talking a second ago about Russ being able to get the Broncos. Yeah. And when you look, what, 7 years ago, the Super Bowl champs? Like, was it that long ago?
Yeah, it was.
So it's ever changing. So get it when it's hot. And, I don't know. It's weird.
No, that's right. I don't want to say this because, Le'Veon's a athlete and he can focus on boxing and all this. Boxing sounds like a sideshow to me. Sounds like a sideshow if you're a football player and you get into that. Sounds like we're just as close to, like real sideshow celebrity boxing kind of stuff.
And can I say this? The guy he's paired to go up against, what's been his biggest issue in retirement? Money. Okay.
I'm going to play until they fall off because I owe a lot of money, and my name is Adrian Peterson.
Guilty by association on this one. Weird.
615-737-1045 is your telephone number, 737-1045. Hey, guys, you hear about the Scarecrow who won the award?
What happened?
He was outstanding in his field. Back in a moment.
Way to do it.
So we say Lead Company, all you need. And it really is all you need because they do it all. Heating and air conditioning, I took advantage of that last year. Plumbing, gonna take advantage of that because we need to get PEX in our house. We have it in half the house. Now we need it in the other half of the house. Electrical, they've done that. They changed out some fixtures, put some LED in our place, checked a little, some of the other things, made sure we were good everywhere. They truly do it all. And when you call them, you're getting a specialist in that field. If it's an HVAC problem, then it's HVAC techs to come out. If it's a plumbing issue, that's an expert plumber coming out. If it's electrical, that's an electrician. Yes, they work for a Lead Company, but they are specialized in those fields. Right now, here's the time. Save $20 on any service call today. HVAC, did it. Plumbing, about to do it. Electrical, already did it also. And I can tell you, having Lead Company in your home, the visual findings platform where you can see what they see. They can send you emails with photos and videos. You don't have to follow them into the crawl space, up into the attic, wherever it is that they have to work, but you can see exactly what they're doing and why they're doing it. Lead Company really does take care of all the guesswork. Heating and air conditioning, plumbing and electrical. Save $20 on any service call right now. $20 off. That's an HVAC, a plumbing, or an electrical service call right now. Call them, 615-567-1000. That's 567-1000 for my friends at Lead Company. All you need. Coach 30 with a new video.
I was 30.
Marvel Infinity War.
Yeah, that came out a couple days ago. Yep. It's pretty good.
He said the Infinity Gauntlet was on as tight as OJ's.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Said something about a mom involved in that, too.
I don't think I've gotten to that part yet.
Yeah, you're close. Yep.
What happens if you throw a green rock into the Red Sea?
I don't know.
Gets wet.
Dude. You really did though. But okay, all right, that's cool. That's cool. I was really thinking in depth about it because that's the thing about dad jokes. Like they're so simple, you overthink them. Is that why we're doing this?
We're doing it because
It's Dad Joke Friday.
it's this show.
What I got for you? I'm supposed to be finding you one.
To do that in real time here.
Yeah, I got it right here. A guy tried to sell me a coffin today. I told him that's the last thing I need. Get it? Get it? Last thing I need?
Yeah. What's orange and sounds like a parrot?
Boy, all the Vols jokes I could have made. All the Vols jokes I could have made.
Vols fans?
Take it wherever you want to take it. A carrot.
A carrot.
Sounds like parrot. And it's orange.
Oh, that wasn't all that.
It's a dad joke.
That was cool.
Yeah, they're not supposed to.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway. Dustin Johnson,
just
8 under. Cameron Young, 8 under. Hadn't started his round yet.
Is it over for Tiger? I heard you say he was like 15,
He's 15
back.
shots back the last time I looked. He was
15.
plus 7.
What's the separator? You golf now. Well, you've been taking lessons. What does your guy say as far as where Tiger is? Because if anybody taking golf lessons, it's the perfect time to ask a golf pro.
I mean,
What's the difference?
He's old.
He's old, but
He's old. He's coming back from stuff. He's not playing very much. It's hard to win majors. That's what people don't, I think, fully appreciate sometimes is how difficult what he already has done was.
Yeah.
That run starting in 2000 is the most impressive thing I've ever seen in sports, period. Throw Brady out.
Yeah.
Throw all of it out. Serena, obviously, yes. And Federer and
Serena's
Nadal and all the kind of stuff.
As
Yes.
Tiger, if we're being honest.
All that
man.
stuff is, but here's the thing. Golf is such a difficult sport. And it's so mentally tough because it's just you and the course. And then it's everybody else competing individually against themselves and you at the same time. Like, everybody would come around and say, here's the next guy to challenge Tiger.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
It's not that he won every major, but he won so many of them. They're the hardest courses to play. Now, the Open Championship's usually not as hard as the Open and the PGA are not exactly like playing Augusta, which he just knows like no one else ever has. And then wherever the Open is, the U.S. Open, which is the toughest course you're going to find anywhere.
Is it?
But, yeah, it always is.
Where is that one at?
I mean, it changes every year.
Oh, okay.
But what Tiger did that stretch is still maybe the most impressive thing I've ever seen in sports. So now when you're watching it, like now he's everybody. He's an older guy. Doesn't mean he doesn't have talent, but look, Dustin Johnson hits it longer.
Yeah.
Koepka hits it longer. These guys are younger. Their back's in better shape. They haven't had to reset their swing 4 times over the last handful of years
because of his back. And
I mean, even before the accident and everything, he changed his swing a couple of times.
Yeah,
because he has so much torque early in his career. The way that he would turn, his back just got shot. But he's a dude that, what is he, 45 now?
Yeah,
is that his age?
I have to look
it up real fast. He's got to be pretty close to that, I would say. He is 46.
46.
He's 46, and he's been playing professional golf since, 97?
Yeah.
That's a long stretch. Now, obviously, he took some time off with the accident and everything that went on, but what he did is not normal. That's why many will always say he's the best that's ever done it, because we've never seen a run like that. Even if you want to say a Nicklaus or something, and Nicklaus super impressive in what he did, the Woods run
was better.
Made golf for a large part of the world. So many people didn't see Nicklaus. They watched Tiger's entire career, and Tiger is just now another PGA pro. a course can get him. That dude never missed cuts.
Wow.
He was never even approaching the cut line throughout much of his career.
Yeah.
Now,
Not
him
even.
being +7 the last time I looked, that's more what you would anticipate a golfer that's gone through what he's gone through in the last couple of years. It's still amazing to me that he's standing.
Okay.
Much less able to walk a course. And play golf at all. That's an impressive accomplishment in its own right.
Jack has the most major wins, right? Well, so what you said Tiger had the most impressive run. So what's the difference in him having the most impressive run, but not the most major wins? What was the difference?
Well, I mean, you play 4 majors a year, right? Jack did it over a long stretch of time.
Long, slow time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was the best. I mean, holy crap. John Daly looks like Santa Claus. Santa Claus, if Santa Claus was sponsored by Cabela's and Monster Energy.
Oh, my gosh. We'll talk. We're real.
Yeah, we are. We're up against it. Second hour of the show is coming up. 615-737-1045. I see Jimmy has a comment on the phones about Tiger, so we'll take that after the headlines here at Jay Martin on 1045 The Zone.
Jay, I've gotten a news alert, an alert on my phone from the local news channel, man, about 8-10 days in a row that says more 90-degree heat. It's hot, Jay, and the streak goes on, man. But you can beat the heat with Window Nation, where you can save $200 off any style new window from Window Nation and pay nothing until 2024, man. Lower your energy bills and raise the value of your home with new energy-efficient windows from Window Nation, my brother.
Yeah, we always sensed that the upstairs was warm and it was probably the window, but it was this summer. It was the heat this year where it's just like, this ain't right. The rest of the house feels completely different than this one room. Let's get Window Nation out here. So they were there a week ago today, and guess what? Yep, those windows, the seals have failed, caulk has cracked, everything's wrong, and that's why it's probably 10 to 15 degrees warmer in that room than any other place in the house. So they're coming back out to replace those 3 windows and one other. I'm taking advantage to save $200 off any style window from Window Nation with every 2 you buy. No payments, no interest until 2024. You're going to save thousands on windows. And because I know it's hot in there, I also know the HVAC's having to pump too much because the thermostat is directly outside of that room. So it'll read 75, even though we have it set on 72. And so it's continually on. The HVAC is always on, and that's costing us more and more money. So we want to save on the energy bills, want to upgrade the look and feel of the home. We just want it to be the way it's supposed to be. So thankfully, Window Nation exists. Save $200 off any style window every 2 you buy. No payments, no interest until 2024. Call them like I did, 866-90-NATION. That's 866-90-NATION or online. Where, Mo?
At windownation.com.
7:01. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer from the Superbook.com sports desk. Braves over the Nationals yesterday, score of 5-4. Braves won the opener of a 4-game set in Washington. Michael Harris II, Matt Olson, and Dansby Swanson all homered for Atlanta.
Swung on, belted, deep right field. Soto will watch it. He's at the track. He's at the wall. It is gone into the seats. Home run, Matt Olson.
Atlanta has won 5 of its last 7, leads the National League with 142 home runs for the season. Dustin Johnson and Cameron Young are tied for the Open Tournament lead at 8 under. And Young is set to tee off his second round at about 7:30 this morning, just under 30 minutes from now. Tiger Woods went 6 over in the first round, needs a strong performance today to make the cut. Looks like he probably will miss the cut. Phoenix Suns matched the Indiana Pacers' 4-year, $133 million offer sheet for restricted free agent center DeAndre Ayton and offensive tackle Mitchell Schwartz, a 4-time All-Pro selection, announced his retirement from the NFL after 9 seasons. He won Super Bowl 54 with the Chiefs. For foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once. On air with the Titans and the Vols, this is 104.5 The Zone.
Hey, did you hear about the new corduroy pillowcases?
They were hot.
Man, they're making headlines everywhere.
I like that one.
J. Mart and Ramon, Hour 2. Those were the headlines from Mr. Schaefer. Ramon Foster, Jonathan Schaefer here. I'm Jason Martin. At Ramon Foster, at Schaefer on Sports, at J Mart Radio, at J Mart and Ramon. Let's go to Jimmy's call on line 1. Jimmy, what's going on?
What's up, Jimmy?
What's going on, guys?
Hey, man.
Not much. Good morning.
Happy Friday.
Same to you.
Happy Friday.
Man, first and foremost, man, thank you guys. You guys do a great job.
Thank you.
Excellent job. So why was the ant confused?
Oh, no.
Because all his uncles were ants.
Oh, that would be a mess,
There
man.
you go. Right?
Yeah,
All
no,
right, let's
I
go.
got it. I got it. The
I
only
got
way to
it,
respond
too.
to a dad joke is to kind of sit silently.
I got it, too.
Woo! I'm hilarious. Tiger transcended the game, and he was like the first kind of elite athlete to play golf, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you look at I'm 55. I've been a golf fan since the 70s. Jack and Arnie and Lee Trevino and all these guys. Although they were amazing golfers and great athletes, they weren't built like Tiger. Tiger was he was built like a linebacker, almost, or a tight end, and so he made everybody after him. You look at Rory, you look at DJ, you look at all these golfers now. They're elite athletes now, where before they were just tremendous golfers, and I think that's what made the difference.
No, I agree with you, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Dustin Johnson just finished his round, by the way, 9 under. He's now the leader. Look, DJ's workout warrior. Him and Koepka, what are they known for? They're friends because they work out together.
So he's changed the way Tiger changed the way golfers looked and went about the sport.
Dennis Leary used to joke that golf is just people in ugly pants walking.
Straight up.
Because, well, look, I mean, Lee Trevino looked like he had a submarine sandwich or a hoagie every time he walked off the course. Love Lee Trevino, but I mean, Lee Trevino, you weren't ever going to mistake that dude for an athlete if you saw him out there. Arnold Palmer, that was when the question was a lot different, is golf a skill or is it a sport, right?
Right.
Like, you can make the argument now because these guys are more athletic. Doesn't mean there's not a couple of guys that can still win, like a Darren Clark, who, he's not hitting the gym all that much. But a lot of these dudes are yoked up.
Yeah.
Bryson DeChambeau, right? Changed his body style, and now all of a sudden he's making $100 million with LIV.
Hey, now.
Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, all those guys are LIV guys, by the way.
Yeah.
Rory used to be kind of a puny kid, and then he hit the gym. Like, a lot of these guys are built differently now.
They look different.
And
they move different.
Yeah, everything about it, it's streamlined, right?
Yeah.
Golf has become slim fit.
Yeah.
It's become tailored fit.
Slim fit. You're right. I mean, Rory was, like you said, he got on that wave too. Tiger for sure did it with the way he dressed like everybody else, but his clothes were a little bit different. When he first came into it.
You saw his arms, and you're like, whoa.
And so that's what I was going to go to with
Barry
Tiger.
Bonds.
So it's okay.
I don't think his head grew, though, like Barry's.
No, no one's head grew like Barry's.
There's been rumors around Tiger was on the juice or something like that. But was it the fact that, and of course, that was just all it was. But was it because they didn't look like Tiger, didn't train like Tiger, didn't have, what was his dad, Earl? Didn't have him around to hammer in, look, you better go. And he made sure that he went. So was it that Tiger actually lifted before everybody was doing stuff? And they were just shocked to see this.
Look, you can argue, if you go back and you look at Tiger in 97 and you look at Tiger in 2001.
Okay.
He grew a lot.
7?
You can argue it. Like, there's always this argument about John Cena, right?
Okay. Yeah.
That John Cena was never on the gas. And the reason why, and this is the argument they always make, is he never looked different. He always looked the same. When he was the prototype before John Cena, he looked the same. When he played football, he looked the same. I'm like, all right, well, dude's been roiding for 20 years. You're roiding from the beginning. Like, it doesn't mean that he wasn't doing it. It just means he might have been doing it for a longer period of time. There are guys who are just freakishly a certain way.
Yeah.
And don't train and don't have to earn it. Shelton Benjamin's famous for that. Mm-hmm. Shelton Benjamin never hit a gym, didn't diet. His body changed. Bobby Lashley, famously, not a giant workout guy unless there's a camera there that he needs to do that for hyping something up. It's just the way that it is. But Tiger's body changed. It grew in a way. His length then at the same time, his length off the tee changed as well. You can make an argument for sure. But it was still that transformation when you started to see other guys out there. Like you always know the dudes in a long drive competition. They may have a needle in their keister while they're hitting the ball. Like there is no rules, no regulations there.
Yeah.
Like those dudes are yoked in a way that's not natural.
So it's one of those Barry Bonds, Tiger Woods thing. And Tiger, again, with this, the power off the tee is where the advantage comes from in the recovery, Jay, if that ever was a thing for Tiger, as far as his transformation and switch into getting the winning edge, as far as substances. That's where the issue lies with Tiger, is they weren't able to hit it like him.
For a while, and then there were guys like Gary Woodland and a few other pros that actually have more distance than he did, but they didn't have – I mean, the key to Tiger, yes, everybody talks about the length of the drives.
Right.
His short game and his putting
was elite.
Were impeccable.
It was elite.
If you can putt, and not just putt, but clutch putt. Mm-hmm. I don't mean on the Muni on Saturday.
Yeah, man.
I mean on Sunday in a major when you're putting basically on an ice rink. If you can do that consistently, and it's just so hard because mentally, that's why the U.S. Open's often won at 1 under, 2 under. Because those greens are preposterous. Mm-hmm. The fairways are incredibly narrow, and the rough is usually high and a problem. So you've got to hit it straight off the tee. But then when you get it on the green, you're usually looking at a 20 to 25 footer on ice, basically.
Yeah. So even with all of that, though, and everybody, like you said, was an athlete. I guess he changed the way people looked at the sport and how they went around it. And we're talking about Tiger Woods because just why not, And you brought up. Who's
Dustin Johnson.
Dustin Johnson. But with the athletic side of what golf is now, you mentioned, of course, how he changed his body, changed the game, and how he hit it and let it rip. But also there's another factor that people brought up where his stare, his intimidation. Why wasn't anybody doing this before?
Well, I mean, it's less about it's. The stare,
to your knowledge, not
the stare only works if you're really good.
Okay.
He didn't have to stare at anybody. The way that he would get people is on Sunday you're paired with him, means you're a shot or two off the lead, or maybe even you have the lead. Now he was never somebody that came from behind very often. Yeah. He's one of the great front runners in the history of sports. He will take it and just embarrass you if he's got the lead.
Yeah.
But guys would play with him or even play in the groups near him, one of the final 3 groups. They'd all fall apart. Wow. And it wasn't because he was intimidating them, like staring them down. It's because he was Tiger Woods.
And the crowd.
His aura and that crowd and just
the roar.
The way it sounded coming off his club, all of those kinds of things.
That's crazy.
It would just crack people.
Yeah.
It would break people. It's kind of hard to even describe.
It's so weird because that's a non-contact sport. Meaning, look, if you the biggest, baddest man in the land, well, you're gonna have to physically prove it to me. I guess with him, he didn't, and they're already playing mind games against themselves.
Right.
They're already playing mind games with the course, and you see him walking, and you hear probably the footsteps of the crowd. Like,
I mean, that's the other thing, and you've heard this before. Like you're on. Let's say you're on the 7th hole.
Yeah.
Tiger's on the 5th. Giant roar comes from somewhere on the course.
As you're about to tee.
And you know exactly what happened. Like, what did Tiger do? Then you look up to the leaderboard and you see that his number's creeping closer. And then you start to fall apart.
That's got to be the biggest mental work ever, man. Because you're supposed to be able to control that as athletes. You're supposed to be able to control, look, if it's me versus this course, I'm trying to whoop this course's butt. But the aura, like you said, the presence of Tiger, and not just him, you might have 250 people there watching you tee off every single time. But he's got what? 2,500, 5,000 walking with him, watching every move that he has. Goodness, Jay. It just doesn't seem like it's supposed to be that way in golf or where you can control everything to where this guy that you're not even watch hit. You either hear it or you hear the crowd around him. That's got to be demeaning, man.
It's just an incredibly difficult game, mentally especially.
Yeah.
I mean, physical is one thing, and just being able to hit it straight and consistent and all that, but your mind's got to be exactly right. And these guys are really good.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take much to get fragile real quick. I mean, when Rory McIlroy went left at Augusta on 10 years ago, he had that tournament in the bag by 3 or 4, and then he ended up losing it by a couple because he fell completely apart after that.
Yeah.
It can happen like that. And you're talking about playing for 4 days, right? 72 holes, and one can cost you.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the stakes and the fever pitch, and even just I feel like there's a sharpness to golf because of how quiet it can be.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you, which means the voice in your head is even louder because there's not necessarily all the distraction outside there.
Goodness.
It's just a nerve-wracking. It's just different. It's way different than like football or something like that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. To where we shut it out.
Yeah,
I didn't hear anything.
Right, and you've got a bunch of people with you, right?
Yeah.
Well, here you got a bunch of people following Tiger that love Tiger, and then there's you and your caddy.
I was born in it, pretty much. He is the darkness, or he was the darkness.
It's just a different sport. Doesn't mean one is necessarily easier or more difficult than the other.
Yeah.
But in golf, it can go wrong real fast. And if you got somebody that's that good, that's transcendent, that's era different, this dude is golf.
Yeah.
Nike's telling you so on a regular basis during commercial breaks of the tournament that you're playing in. And you see, and look, you get to Sunday.
Yeah.
There's something to, there's the red shirt.
Yeah.
There's something to it.
Yeah.
There's an aura to it.
That's tough.
It's just different.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine, man, just being in that position where he just pretty much ate people up. Like, literally,
it was super
over.
impressive. We are blessed to be the age that we are to have gotten to watch all of Tiger's career.
I wish I'd have watched it more. And
that's why he's
those
my favorite
early
athlete of all
phases,
time. I've never seen anything like it.
I never really watched it like that.
You realize
know?
you were watching something you probably would never even come close to seeing again in the moment. Like, even watching a lot of these quarterbacks, you're like, somebody will come around, right?
Yeah.
Tiger, there have been so many people that were supposed to be Tiger again and never even sniffed it. Never even sniffed it.
I'd love to hear one of his opponents that walked with him in those big tournaments, just how they felt. I wonder, is that interview out there?
I think I have heard some say it's just different.
It's just different.
When he's the other guy sitting there eating his banana.
Oh, my God.
Because forever, you just see him sitting there. He would be drilling the potassium and everything. He'd be sitting there before his second shot eating a banana.
Wow.
Or something like that. And you're over there trying to hit, and people are watching him eat the banana instead of watching you hit your second shot. 615-737-1045. NFL.com put out an interesting list. Which fan base most deserves a Super Bowl title? We'll talk about it. It's Jay Martin and Mel 1045 The Zone.
If it seems like everything is hard these days, I've got some good news for you because there's still one thing that's easy, and that's buying a vehicle from Two Rivers Ford. No matter how you like to shop, okay? Two Rivers Ford is there to make it happen for you. Because if you know exactly what kind of Ford you want, Two Rivers will custom order it for you and deliver it to you when it gets manufactured. Or if you have an idea but not quite sure what you want, you can reach out to the non-commissioned sales team and they'll stay on the lookout for you and contact you when a vehicle that you like comes available and is in stock for you. And don't forget, Two Rivers Ford always sells below MSRP on all new non-specialty vehicles. So you can rest assured you're getting the best price. So when it comes to finding a vehicle, call Two Rivers Ford and let them do the work for you. Toll free 800-900-1000. Yes, that is the number. It's 1-800-900-1000. Put Two Rivers Ford on your team today.
J Mart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. Ramon Foster and Jonathan Schaefer here with me. I'm Jason Martin. Here with you until 10 a.m. Shout out to Brian.
For what?
I think his last name. I was at the mall last night.
Oh, you still go to the mall?
Here and there.
Okay.
What in the mall? We're in the food court, grabbing a little Chick-fil-A, trying to feed the child.
Chick-fil-A?
So,
how you know?
Waffle fries obviously are a good thing.
You remember that old video on there? Waffle fries.
Yeah. So we would take a waffle fry, we'd cut it in about 6-7 pieces, put it in front of CG.
Yeah.
And she would demand a carton for the full one. We had one set, so she would take one.
Yeah.
She would take a bite, and then she would either throw it on the floor or set it down. And so we would hand it to her again, and she would shake her head. She would do this number right here, and then start pointing again to the carton. She took everyone out of the carton, took one bite, and then would have nothing to do with it after that.
Kid.
But Brian came up
Kid.
and just kind of said some kind of stuff about the show. Said he really enjoys the show.
Nice.
That was cool.
Shout out
Always
to the
cool.
people. Your
See us out, say hello.
Your daughter is a degenerate, man. She just wanted to wreck stuff that she don't pay for.
It's funny.
You know, that's a bad place to be in.
All right, NFL.com.
Unforgivable, yeah.
2022 NFL season. Which fan base most deserves a Super Bowl title? 12 NFL franchises have yet to taste the ultimate victory. Arizona, Atlanta, Buffalo, Carolina, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Detroit, Houston, Jacksonville, the Chargers, Minnesota, and Tennessee.
Tighten up.
The Patriots and Steelers have 6 titles. Dallas and San Francisco have 5 each on the other side of that. So a few people, Adam Rank, D'Angelo Hall, David Carr, Brian Baldinger, each picked one and said, this is the team that most deserves. Actually, this is the fan base that most deserves a championship.
Yeah.
They only picked one. So it's not like they ranked them. Tennessee did not make this list. I can just tell you that. It's not really a list. D'Angelo Hall said the Bills. Adam Rank said the Bears, which wasn't one of them, but basically said since 85, it's like they sold their soul for the 85 team because they've barely been good since. Well, I mean, they went to a Super Bowl with Rex Grossman. To me, I'm like, Adam Rank, get out of here.
I was just going to say, Titans fans aren't big Adam Rank fans anyway.
Are they not? He's that
Yeah,
type
what
of dude.
was it he said? I knew there's something else he got into.
I think it was beginning of last season where he's like, oh, Titans are going 4-13 or whatever. It was either last year or 2 years ago, and they just clowned him on Titans Twitter.
Yeah, as they should have.
Yeah, the Bears thing's just stupid. Like, don't waste time.
Nobody was even asking for the Bears, right?
Well, look,
no, it's not one of the 12.
We can all agree with the Cleveland thing, though. They can just lose forever.
Yeah,
we all can agree that they can just lose forever.
How'd you know how to get me going today?
I just tempted you with a good time.
Some of their good fans, I feel sorry for those people.
Cleveland
ones that
fans?
grew up in Cleveland, like the older men and stuff like that, they're never going to see a title.
No, because I'm sure
they didn't move from Cleveland. That's their fault.
Exactly. Because old Mike went to Cleveland. I don't know what's wrong with him.
Warrants. David Carr said the Arizona Cardinals. They routinely have talented teams that have come close over the last 15 seasons, including the crushing loss to the Steelers, the Warner game, where he almost found a way to win that at the end.
Oh, poor guys.
And now you've got Kyler and Cliff Kingsbury.
Kyler and Cliff
I know.
Kingsbury.
I just don't look at the Arizona Cardinals fan base and say that's a diehard fan base that's just tortured.
Who, Arizona?
Yeah.
I'll say this too. Arizona almost seems like they get forgotten. You know, like they really just, oh yeah, Arizona, man. Like Kyler, oh yeah, like when was it? But what's crazy, they've had some good players. They've had some good teams here and there, but they get lost between Dallas and LA at this point. You know what I'm saying? Or Dallas and San Francisco when it wasn't an LA team. Like, oh yeah, they are out there. Like do they deserve it? To me, no.
I mean, the rest of their division have all won a title in the last 15 years or the last 10.
I'll say this. They do get the Super Bowl about once every 4 years when they're hosting it. They love going to Phoenix.
Niners haven't won one in a while. They made it to 2. But yeah, Arizona.
They love hosting the Super Bowl.
And Brian Baldinger's the other one. He said the Bills. I think the Bills is the answer.
Bills is
I'm fine with Bills.
I mean, lost 4. Those are diehard fans.
Yeah.
they're going braving horrible weather
And
a
Titans
lot of
fans,
the
it's
time.
no commentary on you.
No.
It's just,
No.
I think with Bills, just because of the history.
But let's look at some of the rest of these. All right. The Vikings have been really good. Screwed on a field goal here.
Yeah.
The Brett Favre play back in the day. Like there's
What Brett Favre
different
play?
stuff. The one where he got hit.
Oh, yeah.
Probably should have been a penalty.
Where
Wasn't called.
he basically lost the game against the Saints.
Yeah.
The NFC Championship.
Yeah.
Minnesota, do they deserve one? It'll be good to see them be above board as far as competing. And they have been, but
The most
you don't-
amazing. Yeah.
I was going to go ahead.
No, go
I was
ahead.
going to say I don't trust the quarterback as much, I guess.
Well, now, right. The year they really felt like you had a shot, even though that was the year either Tennessee or Baltimore was going to win.
Mhm.
Whoever won the game, it turned out to be the Ravens. They were the 1 seed, and they had Randy Moss and Chris Carter and Dante Culpepper.
Oh, my God.
They hosted the NFC Championship game, and they got absolutely demolished by the Giants and Kerry Collins and Tiki Barber. Just embarrassed. And then, of course, the Giants went and got spanked by the Ravens and that defense in that Super Bowl. What is that?
Vikings horn.
That was a horn without the womp, womp, womp.
But I mean, that, like, I could go back. The score, it was like 35-3 at half. Like, it was over.
God, dog.
This was not a Frank Wright comeback game either. Jacksonville, they don't really have fans, do they?
Yeah, they got some very strong
I know
fans.
they do.
The thing about them, they want to have a good
Most
time.
of them are in jail. But
You done been to Jacksonville before?
No, I don't think I've ever been there.
It's such a big, wide city. And that's what people say as far as like their issues with going to like the games is you got to come from Egypt to actually go into the stadium a little bit. Like there's a long trek to get and be a fan there. And the fact they've just been mediocre, they're passionate as ever.
Yeah, see, I think I look at this and I say, you've got to have a really passionate fan base that's been tortured for a long time for me to really look at it. Like Atlanta, they don't have great fans. They don't have very many fans. Notoriously, they almost never have. Now, they've had some
feel
near
that
misses.
way?
Yeah, they don't have a great fan base.
I feel like they get a lot of praise though, as far as like Falcons. And maybe that's just the way I've just viewed it. As
Atlanta's always mocked as the worst pro sports city
Is
in
it
America.
really?
Yeah.
Including the Braves?
Yes.
Why? Because there's so much entertainment there, or what?
Just they don't support them. They're like,
Wow, that's news to me.
yeah,
And I'm not saying you're wrong. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're usually routinely mocked as a terrible sports city.
It's because I see so much Brave stuff, and the Falcons are so close. I'm like, well, no, they're good. I guess in the city though, it's not that.
Look, I remember
Wow.
I went to a Braves playoff game when I lived in Atlanta. I was just like, I probably can't afford this, but I'll try. I was living with my parents at the time. And I went to that playoff game, saw Barry Bonds hit a home run off John Smoltz in the playoffs for $20. And I
the
walked up
playoffs?
and bought the ticket.
Wow. Oh, that's bad.
And that's when the Braves had a lineup.
Yeah. No, that's bad.
Yeah,
dog.
there's you know what I'm talking about, right, Shafe?
Oh, yeah.
Atlanta's mocked as a terrible pro sports city because they don't come out to the yard.
Yep.
I actually thought that was.
But they
opposite
look,
of it.
Falcons got boat raced by my Broncos. But then obviously 28-3 is a
28-3.
painful moment. Like, I'm not saying there are no diehard Falcons fans. I'm
Well,
just
yeah.
saying in comparison.
The team they support the most is Atlanta United.
Yeah, that's right.
Is it really?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I just thought because
The Hawks, my gosh.
how bad the traffic is and how overpopulated it is that they, have a crazy fandom, but I guess they don't correlate.
No. Carolina has a lot of good fans. I lived there, so I'm a little biased, but I saw it. They're a loud fan base, and they usually sell the place out.
Yeah.
They have been close. Cam got them close.
He did 2015.
Yeah, obviously they were in. Was that the game went to overtime against the Patriots?
No.
It was either that or the Eagles that went to over. It was the Panthers. Panthers was the overtime Super Bowl.
Panthers?
I believe so.
They played.
No, it was Denver.
No. The first Panthers Super Bowl
They've
was
gone
against
to
the
two?
Patriots.
When was
Cam
that?
was with the Panthers when they went against
This
the
is
Broncos.
Brady against Jake Delhomme, I think.
Yes.
Who?
Right.
No, I'm playing.
That was that kick either
was
won
like
the game in
03-ish.
regulation or it went to overtime.
Yeah,
don't
I
remember
think
which.
Vinatieri won in overtime.
Because Cam was pretty terrible in the Super Bowl because Denver had that monster defense.
No.
That was the dirty
say
hits.
exactly
That was
what
the dirty,
it was.
They were headhunting.
That man couldn't go anywhere
No,
because
that's
of Von.
Right. Well,
Von
but
Miller
that's
was
why I
gonna
said
rip
the
that
defense was
MVP.
amazing.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean Cam was good.
They have won 2 conference championships. I had 03. I was so lost in
the
sports.
Panthers?
Yeah, Panthers.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did not realize that was the case.
They were Brady's. They were the second team in the Brady era.
That was the Janet Jackson Super Bowl.
Yes,
It was.
Yeah, boy, that got your attention.
The old slip.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
The wardrobe malfunction.
Oh.
Cincinnati is next.
That's what happened.
Cincinnati was on the doorstep. Cincinnati fans still came out to that yard and supported a team with an owner that was giving powdered eggs out on a regular basis.
Man. And probably still. Nah, they can't right now. Joey B ain't going for
The
that.
one quarterback they had got hurt, Carson Palmer.
Oh,
You remember that very well.
change the rule. No
Yeah,
hitting low
that's right.
like that. Yep.
And then, of
100%.
course, you had Andy Dalton, who was just good enough to break your heart.
I liked Andy though. We may have talked about him before. How he was a NFL top 100. Like he was in the 30s. Andy Dalton had a good little run.
No,
man.
he wasn't.
You
a
know what it
scrub.
was? Andy Dalton. He was surrounded by a bunch of degenerates. That's just simply what it was. They had their opportunities, man. It was times they were winning the AFC North. They were a really good team. Had all the players that they needed, but they just had some degenerates on that team. And that's all you can really say is just the team concept of the Patriots just wait in the shadows, and you slip up and they take you over. That's all you had to do to Cincinnati for a while. Sucks for 'em.
And the other thing, obviously, with Cincinnati, it's just you had 2 really good tight ends that couldn't stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
That really would have helped you. Eifert was great, but he could not stay healthy. And Gresham was really good and couldn't stay healthy. And while we're at it, A.J. Green is on a borderline Hall of Fame list that we read a few days ago, and he just could not stay healthy.
We had somebody on Twitter at us, Jay, and said since Atlanta Braves, I guess, moved to Truist and the battery attendance has gone way up.
Yeah, it has helped, but they've also gotten better.
Yeah, they have gotten better too.
Like, you're right. It's a much better experience. It's easier to get there. It's state of the art. Turner Field and getting out there was not fun.
That's a beautiful place, man.
At all. Oh, I know. I was there for opening day.
That's a beautiful place.
The day they opened it, and I was just like, it was like a museum to baseball, but a museum to Braves baseball, and I loved it.
Somebody also said the Braves are actually 3rd in MLB attendance now.
Yeah, again, it's up.
So being
right
in
now.
Marietta did them a big favor.
Yeah, putting it there did help, but again, if they're losing, no one comes out.
Yeah,
like it changes severely there.
Unlike Browns fans,
right?
Is what you're saying,
or Bengals fans, or Bills fans.
Yeah,
Bills fans endured J.P. Lossman and E.J. Manuel and every other abbreviated quarterback in the history of Earth.
Jets.
Trent Edwards.
Braves fans coming after you now, Jay.
They can, but I'm not wrong. I'm a Braves fan who lived in Atlanta.
Yeah. Take that.
It wasn't. It's not a consistent fan base.
I knew it.
Hold that.
Hold that. It almost sounds like he's saying hold neck, but hold that.
Hold that.
Cleveland we talked about a little bit. Detroit.
Cleveland real quick on that list of overall.
I tried to just sneak it.
Crapping on. No.
I tried to buy you a belt. I tried to buy you a belt.
Don't y'all do that.
Tried to buy you
I'm playing. Me, you in the parking lot later, okay? That belt was a great gift. By the way, no, Cleveland, when we went through the roster list of talent, they're 6th on it. If these Deshaun issues, I asked you before the show started, hey, man, when we going to get some news? If Deshaun plays half of the year, man, they might mess around. You know, like
I
they
don't
might
think you
mess
should use the
around
term
and play.
messing around to Deshaun Watson in the same sentence.
Dog it. You're right. They could possibly make the playoffs.
That's merit.
You're right. That's 100%. Happy baby yoga pose.
No. Nope.
Jay looking like.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. But yeah, they actually have a very talented roster, and I don't know how I feel about that.
Detroit.
Detroit.
Great fans. They've never been close. They keep on trying.
Even before
too.
Barry. Yup. Even during Barry Sanders.
That's a tortured fan base.
And
right
now
there.
their head coach But I also saw an article the other day that said the kid from Michigan is going to end up. Hayden Hutchinson is like, man, they got an opportunity to be. Yeah, you got like 2 top 5 like picks on your defensive line.
I'll say this about Detroit last year.
What's that?
Not a great roster.
They outperformed what I thought.
But they played for that coach.
Yeah,
they played for that guy.
They did.
I think I'm not saying they're going to be good. They're not going to be an easy team to defeat this year. They've become an obstacle as opposed to a walkover.
You think this is a bridge coach, or he going to actually be there though? Because that's to y'all point about them actually doing good. It seemed like it may be him.
I don't know. I mean, this has to happen again. Like, you have to continue to see progression, or eventually.
How many did they win last year? 4?
I think it was 4.
And a tie. Don't forget that.
That's right.
True. But if they get to 6 or 7, they're fine.
They should have beaten Baltimore. They screwed that play up.
I mean, they're trending upward.
That was a bad call by the officials in that game.
I mean, Shafe, they ain't got much further to go back down though.
Before the break, this is how we get sent to a commercial break.
Hey.
Funky Cheese Man is on the line. Cheese Man's talking in the background. You're on the radio.
No, your head looks like a leather handbag. Stop talking to me, dude.
Cheese!
Stop it and do it, you fellas.
What was happening? What did we just interrupt?
Hey, man. This dude's over here talking about how he was trying to get over in my lane. I'm coming off the interstate in a 18-wheeler, and he wants to talk about how I'm driving. Man, get out of here. I forgot what I was even going to call in about. Yeah.
Bleep you, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, if you Aaron Rodgers, that guy. If any fan base deserves it, it's the Titans. I mean, we've come so close and just couldn't pull through in them clutch moments. I blame a lot of that on play calling. It's another year. I see all these little haters on Twitter already talking about how the Titans are going to have a sorry season and all that. I'm taking screenshots of every one of them, and I'm going to call them all out. Because we're going to come through with thunder this year, baby. Tighten up. Gas pedal.
I just want to hear the start of that call.
Oh, yeah.
Even if he planned it, it's well planned.
Hey, man, we need to get Cheese on the circuit, man. He got to go around and start just speak 5 minutes, Cheese. That's all we need, baby. I told you, I was low, Jay. I was like, I got to find a way up out this thing this morning. Cheese brought me through.
Let's go.
I just want to know if something happened or if that was staged.
Yeah. No, I
knowing
believe
that guy, something happened.
Something happened because he ain't going to take
What
nothing.
did he say about a mother and a leather handbag? Did he basically say your mom's face looks like a catcher's mitt?
He was critiquing national traffic.
You're right. Hey, 104.5, protect him at all costs, man. Golly, what's his security going to cost, Shay?
You might have to go back into the league to play in order to pay for that.
I don't even know if he needs security. We need to get him security.
615-737-1045 is the telephone number. We'll go back through the rest of the list and see if we can make a case for other teams as well. The Bills, yes. That one I think is probably number one. But we're getting to the nitty, so we'll do that on the other side. It's Jay Martin on 104.5 The Zone.
Is the summertime heat causing you to lose your cool? Well, don't let a broken down or older HVAC unit keep you from being comfortable in your home. That's one thing I always tell y'all. Look, be comfortable in your own home. And me, I'm Ramon Foster, and I have the heating and cooling company that can take care of all of your HVAC needs. They are Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. They offer free service calls with their repairs, plus low monthly payments on those repairs. And if you do need a new unit, Spring Hill Heating and Cooling offers 60 months no interest financing. Plus, they can provide the financing for qualifying purchases and free estimates on replacement units. They also back their work with 10-year parts and labor warranties. So when the summer is at its hottest, they are at their best. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, available anytime at springhillac.com.
J Mart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. Back to this.
This is 5-year foreign or
Pop Smoke.
Pop Smoke.
Oh, yeah, he passed away.
And well, you know what's crazy?
Right? And then got more popular afterwards, right?
And everybody stole his style. If you listen to the melodies and it's all this. 5-year foreign is a guy. I heard Chris Brown album this morning. He's got it on.
This is a good beat.
This dude was very talented too.
It's what I've read. I read some articles about him.
Very.
Like he was about to be a monster.
Very, Jay. Very, man. Oh, I hate that for him and his family.
NFL list that they had put together of just teams that have not won a Super Bowl, at least in the NFL era, and which fan base deserves it more. We ran through a lot of them: Arizona, Atlanta, Buffalo, Carolina, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Detroit. Houston is next.
Has Houston ever played? No, they have not.
No.
They're young enough. Of the young franchises, Carolina, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Jags?
No, Jags never made it.
Jags never made it, but they AFC championship.
They made it to a championship
because the Titans kept them out of one.
Ooh.
And then they made one. They made a title game and nearly beat Brady and got there.
Yes.
They should have won that
To tell you
game.
the truth, I thought they were going to win that game.
If it had not been Brady, I would have agreed with you, but I was watching it.
If not for Brady, I'm thinking, I can't believe the Jags are about to go to the
I can't believe
Super
Blake
Bowl.
Bortles is about to go to the Super Bowl.
Hey, man, y'all know that. Come on now. Y'all know. Come on. Y'all
Hey.
know.
Hey.
Y'all know.
Hey.
Y'all know.
You had your shot.
I did.
That's right.
That's all you really want.
You had your shot.
That's all you want.
I didn't like
But
you that
no,
much.
Houston's fan. Well, I mean, if you want to go back to the Oilers,
Like you now.
if you want to talk about just Houston football fans.
Yeah.
If Oilers fans didn't become Titans fans and just stayed with their city and then became Texans fans.
And then you look at the Oilers Steelers back in the
Yeah.
70s.
But it's been a
Steelers
long
kept
time.
them out a couple
Yeah,
times.
that's right.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, come on.
What? What are you talking about?
Steelers kept them out.
Yeah, the Steelers kept them out
Kept
in the
who
70s. The Oilers
Oh.
of the Super Bowl.
Hey, y'all know I took a lot of heat for being on this station to being my former employer, okay? So
Yeah, but everybody
y'all bring that up, and I'll be like, okay,
Yeah,
I'm
everybody
backing
likes
away.
you now. They like you.
You think?
Maybe.
I'm decent?
Occasionally.
It's not what Brian told me yesterday at the mall. When he was talking about our show.
Which
I'm
mall?
just kidding.
Put a
I'm just
name on
kidding. I'm
it.
just
Put a
kidding.
name on it, Jay.
He did, Brian.
I'm just kidding. He would never.
I'm smacking every Brian.
No one says anything negative about you.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Just funning.
Every time somebody goes, come on, man.
Come on, man. No, I ain't got it today.
All right, so the last three, we talked about Minnesota a bit.
Minnesota.
Tennessee, we already know. The Chargers is unfortunate, man, because the San Diego fans that were there really liked them.
Yeah.
But they couldn't wait to get out of there because they didn't have enough. They couldn't get the stadium built. They were just a team that got forgotten about. Phillip Rivers was there. LaDainian Tomlinson was there. They never made it to a Super Bowl. Antonio Gates never made it to a Super Bowl.
Phillip.
All the talented guys that they had through the years.
Because they were great when the Patriots were on top.
It's exactly right. They were the Utah Jazz, but unfortunately they played in the same conference as the Patriots, whereas
Moan,
the
you know all
Jazz
about
were
it.
on the West and the Bulls were in the East.
Oh, what'd you say, Shay?
You know all about it.
I
You
know
live
that
life.
damn team, man.
Because that's the thing. You had the Patriots and the Colts at the same time.
God, dog, it's like
That's
having.
why it was Brady versus Manning.
Yeah, that's why Jordan. Jordan is a lot of greats.
That's
that
what I'm
didn't get
saying.
it.
Like the reason why the Utah Jazz ended up better off than the Chargers is because the Utah Jazz played in the other conference so they could actually meet in the NBA finals
to have a shot.
as opposed to losing in the conference finals, which is what so many good, solidly built AFC teams did during the Patriots era.
Yeah. Shout out to Eli, man. That's all you can say. Shout out to him.
He was the one guy that could break it. And apparently Nick Foles,
And Nick Foles.
which
Yeah,
then broke
buddy.
Carson Wentz and Tom Brady in the same game.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? God, he's a twofer.
Basically.
God, basically.
615-737-1045 is the telephone number. We will have Josh Ward in about 25 minutes. We'll start to look at the college football landscape and certainly SEC media days, everything that's happening there. Why can't you hear a pterodactyl go to the toilet?
Because the T is silent? No.
The P is silent.
I had it flipped.
demerit.
Pterodactyl.
I had it flipped. I was
That
on.
one
You
needs
just
to go
did.
on the soundboard, Chafe.
Come on, don't dog me like that, man.
Pterodactyl, because the T is silent.
The P is silent. I was too quick. I should have studied.
Suck it.
You were so close Yet so far,
This is hard.
you were Kevin Dyson. We'll be back with the next hour. Jay Wagner on 104.5 The Zone.
Oh.
Hey, look, it was just a joke. I love Kevin. One of the nicest dudes that you will ever meet.
Jerk.
I know I just blessed your heart. So now I'm going to tell you where you need to go for your mortgage situation, and that is my friends at MIG Mortgage Investors Group. Rents continuing to rise at the fastest pace in decades. Average increase is 21% in Nashville year over year. Why are you paying the landlord's mortgage instead of paying your own, especially with the apartment living that goes into it and everything that you don't want to deal with? The people that you don't know that might be in your parking space, the loudness above you, below you. You're worried about potentially getting a noise complaint because you actually want to hear your television at night. Renting can get really old. So you should make this year the one where you start building equity, investing in your financial future. Talk to the experts at Mortgage Investors Group to help you get started on your path to home ownership. It's closer than you think, and they are here to make sure you get the right home loan for you, not just any loan. They're going to make sure you close on time. They're going to make sure that those home buying goals are a reality with a loan that's structured the right way. The MIG difference, over 2,600 reviews on Zillow. MIGonline.com is the website. MIGonline.com to find the office nearest you, or text MIG to 31399. That's 3 simple letters, MIG to 31399 to get pre-qualified. Mortgage Investors Group, the right home loan. Equal housing lender, license number 109111.
It is 8 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer from the Superbook.com Sports Desk. Braves with the win over the Nationals yesterday, 5-4, winning the opener of a 4-game set in Washington. Michael Harris II, Matt Olson, and Dansby Swanson homered for Atlanta. Atlanta's won 5 of its last 7, leads the National League with 142 home runs. Dustin Johnson leading the Open tournament 8 under. Tiger Woods 6 over in the first round. Struggling again today, will likely miss the cut. Offensive tackle Mitchell Schwartz, a 4-time All-Pro selection, announced his retirement from the NFL after 9 seasons. He won Super Bowl 54 with the Kansas City Chiefs. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening? J Mart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. Ramon Foster, Jonathan Schaefer. I'm Jason Martin in stereo, apparently. At Ramon Foster, at Schaefer on Sports, at J Mart Radio, at J Mart and Ramon. Somebody just said, I'm going to need security leaving the building today.
Yeah, you are.
Come on, man. You remove the power of you remove the power of trouble by looking ahead on and joking about it.
He said, Andrew told you sit on it and spin.
Notice I did it on Friday, so you got 6 days before you can come at me.
You out next week?
No, but Thursday is Bleep You Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, I was about to say, what the hell?
I like that you're trying to limit the violence to just the Bleep You Aaron Rodgers segment. You know that doesn't work on this show.
No.
It does when you're coming to me.
I met a lady.
You can say whatever you want to say during Bleep You Aaron Rodgers, but I will snipe you if you try me at Friday at 8:03. I'm just kidding.
I met a guy last week at Brian's, and he introduced us to his wife and sweet lady, sweet couple, man. They were awesome. And his wife was like, I choose violence every day. And she looked me dead in my soul, Jay, and I believed her, okay? The husband was like, yeah, she does. But no, she enjoyed it, though. So, yeah, Jay, we choose violence daily. Don't do this, okay? It's not what we're into.
So I found this list of the top 10 Steve Smith Sr. quotes from his NFL days. Smith was asked if he was sad to see D'Angelo Hall leave the NFC South. Then he pointed out Panthers and Raiders are scheduled to play that year. Then he said he plans to have his children at that game. Papa don't lose no fights when the kids are around.
It's true. You better do whatever you have to. That's so real. Oh, my God. Papa don't lose no fights when the kids are around. You got to show out whenever your kids around, Jay. I heard somebody else say that, look, if it's between me and you and my old lady and my mom around, oh, you about to leave this earth. I was like, oh, damn. Like, you can't lose in front of your lady, Jay, or your kids. Your kids will own you from that point on. Dad, I saw you get beat up. Can you imagine that conversation? You got to walk back in your house and CG is like, Dad, you always get on me. You bully me around, but I saw what happened to you. Like, you lose all respect at that point, Jay. He was 100% correct.
We got Josh Ward coming up in the next segment. We'll be able to talk some SEC football with him. So the list that we just went through, certainly I think the Titans are probably near the top of that list. They're getting closer in terms of a fan base that deserves a championship. I think the Bills is just your unquestioned answer. The pain of losing so many times, getting
four
there.
Straight?
Yeah.
4 straight.
Basically.
I couldn't imagine, dude. I met and know Cornelius Bennett, man. By the way, awesome dude. For a dude that was so violent in that era of football, meeting and having conversations with Cornelius and kind of having him hash that out about that journey back and back and back. Golly, that was crushing, man. They would have to bring back all those guys if that happened. I know they would. But, yes, the Bills. And also, too, like I said, the Titans, that's crushing.
Yes.
Literally a yard That's crushing, man.
Another reason I used that line at the end of the hour was just to remind you, they should be near the top of this list because that was about as painful a loss in a Super Bowl as you will ever see.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people felt it and still think about it.
Yeah.
So Fowler's final list is now out. Offensive tackles list is out.
Numero uno, can I guess it?
This is the insider list, the execs, coaches, players list. So that's why I wanted to do this, to see what you can come up with. Now, this is an interesting point. 5 of the top 10 offensive tackles are at least 30. As one NFL senior national scout pointed out, young offensive tackles come into the league with less refinement and skill because colleges are playing considerably less pro-style offense. There are a few young stars that are trying to change that narrative, and you'll see them in this list as well. But number 1 is, I would have been able to guess this.
Trent.
33.
Yep.
He got 80% of the first place votes. Somebody had him ranked 5th.
Somebody needs
remove that person's vote.
I was going to beat their face against concrete themselves by doing that. 5th?
Freaking bum.
80% of the first place votes, lowest ranking 5.
It's always that group of people. You know, Jay?
Contrarians.
God, I hate those types.
Somebody with a grudge. Gotta be. You can't rank him objectively 5th.
3 maybe at the lowest, okay?
Okay.
5? I love to hear that 1 through 4.
Number 2.
Number 2 at tackle, Bakhtiari.
Nope.
Oh, wow. Orlando?
Nope. This is a guy who's 23.
23. Younger?
Entering his 3rd season.
I ain't got a clue. Who is
Tristan Wirfs.
He's up that high?
He had a lowest ranking of 7. He was 8th last year, highest ranking 1. Elite pass blocker and NFL personnel director said got the tool to be the best. 6'5", 320, 91.6% pass block win rate last season, 12th best in the league, led all tackles in pass block snaps. Brady can't run.
Yeah.
And Wirfs kept him upright.
You say that, but Brady also has a method of what?
Getting the ball out of his hands.
Yeah, and I hate to even go that way, but I'll be honest with you. When I played, we kind of looked at lines like, man, they're holding the ball for 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were one-on-one, no slides, no anything. And but this kid is good. I'm not going to take that from him. He's pretty good.
Not great against the run in terms of numbers. 72.2% run block win rate, 49th among tackles.
Tristan Wirfs, wow.
Number 3, you already mentioned him.
Bakhtiari.
Yes. Lowest ranking 10.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
2 last year, 1 this year. Missed basically the whole year last year. Missed 16 games. He's 9 years in. He's 30 years old.
How did he still get 3? Perception at this point? I think you got to judge him off what they did. He didn't do anything last year.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's just but he didn't do anything to hurt himself other than being hurt himself. Like, he had a torn ACL. He's 30. In 2020, he was 6th in pass block win rate, allowed only 5 sacks over 29 regular season games. I think this is, look.
He's that good.
This right here proves why Baker Mayfield shouldn't have played last year when he got hurt.
Yeah, there we go. Right there, Jay. 100%. And this also now, this list at least makes me think of Pro Bowl voting a little bit. Because specifically this one, because it's a guy that didn't play last year that's on this list because of his reputation at 3. He is that good. And he's probably 2 and not 3 if he does play. You know? But 3, it's other guys that played.
Yeah, one NFL personnel veteran said Aaron Rodgers helps him a lot. Rodgers moves around and avoids sacks. He's still really good, but basically saying A-Rod helps you out because of his footwork and the way that he moves.
But his footwork, Bakhtiari's,
yeah.
If you want to watch art, look at him. I think Trent gets away because of his athleticism. Bakhtiari, though, he's a machine with it.
Number 4.
Slater.
Yep. 23. He was unranked last year because he was a rookie. Highest ranking 2, lowest ranking out of top 10.
Yeah.
Okay. AFC Scout said plays big, plays with his hands really well, uses length, strong hands, great feet. Had a 90.4% pass block win rate last season, 17th among tackles, 83.6 PFF grade. He might be, he said he has good potential to be a top dude a year from now.
Yeah.
One personnel exec said. Tested dominant pre-draft. Doesn't necessarily always play that way, but his consistency does carry him. He's only going to get better.
Yeah. And he's in a division that's going to test the heck out of him.
No question. Number 5.
I actually see the list right now, too.
Okay.
I'm cheating a little bit. Tyron.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't see that one
why I
as
said
a 5.
that, you know,
Yeah, I don't know if this is 5 this year for him. Injuries kind of threw him off a little bit. Yes, he is a talent, man, but his technique is phenomenal. But his ability to stay on the field this year, I feel like a couple guys could have been ahead of him at a point, Jay.
So if you go a little lower, Laramie Tunsil, that's in division with the
Yep.
Texans. Last year's ranking 3, highest ranking 2. He's 6th, lowest ranking out of top 10.
I like Laramie.
What's funny is he's maybe not as good as he was according to an AFC scout. He's 27.
Yeah, man. He's still growing. And he's had, 2 coaching changes?
Yeah, that's right. Lane
Yeah.
Johnson is 7
7.
at 32
Yeah.
years of old. Ronnie Stanley
Didn't
is
play
8
also.
at 28th. He's 28 years old. He's 8th on this list. Highest ranking was 2.
Mm-hmm.
Played only 7 games over the past 2 seasons, but voters seem to give tackles grace on the injury front. Right, and that goes back to Bakhtiari.
They do.
Again, if you play hurt, they're just going to look
Say
at you and
this.
ding you.
Parents with big kids. I know your kids want to play D tackle and D end. There's room over here on the offensive side. And to your point, you can be very athletic and be a lineman and last for years. You get slow at D tackle, D end, you out of the league.
Mm-hmm.
There's something to be said about that.
Ryan Ramchick of the Saints is 9,
Solid, very solid.
28 years old. He was 10th last year. So he's about where he was.
Yeah.
Teron Armstead is 10.
It should be higher.
Dolphins. Last year he was 4th. Highest ranking was 6th. Lowest ranking out of top 10.
He should.
Fowler even says, a slight surprise
Yep.
as a fall to 10. Above average pass blocker, run blocking wasn't great, one executive said.
They don't watch like that. This irks me. This irks me more than interior guys.
Honorable mention,
Too slow.
Orlando Brown.
Orlando. He should be in the top 10.
I would have thought, based on how you've talked about him, that's what I would
Yeah.
have.
I'm actually pulling Ronnie out, pushing Lane Johnson up. Laramie Tunsil, he goes up. Teron goes down. Smith, and I'm putting Orlando Brown in the top 10.
Penei Sewell,
Very solid young man. He gonna be real good.
Jordan Malata.
Yeah, Malata.
I want to get it right.
That's
It's
a
either
big
Malata
boy.
or Malata. Yeah, he's big. 6'8", 346.
I think at one time he was bigger than that plant and can move, Jason. A tank, man.
And Taylor Lewan is next.
Mhm.
14th overall. Then it says Lewan has toughness and attitude. Coaches love as a quality left tackle. Back-to-back appearances on previous top 10 lists back that up. But he turns 31, hasn't made a Pro Bowl since 18, missed 16 games over the past 2 seasons. He's still living off his name a bit, a veteran AFC scout said. The overall body of work and performance hasn't been there recently.
Oh, that's disrespectful. Oh, wow. I mean, that ain't far from it, but
Still an honorable mention.
still an honorable man. Damn, somebody said that?
Yep.
He's, as an offensive line, he's still living off his name a little bit. Oh, wow.
Most offensive linemen don't have podcasts and all that. His name is, and he was a Pro Bowler and solid early on. After the suspension, there has been talk that the play has dropped off to some degree.
Yeah.
At least if you
Yeah.
want to be skeptical of
That's
it,
true.
you want to be somebody else. And look, AFC scout that's veteran, that's maybe not a giant fan of his for whatever reason. He's polarizing too, so he's not going to get the benefit of the doubt
No.
from some people.
No,
I
not
would think
at
that
all.
might harm him. Colton Miller, Taylor Moton,
I like
Brian O'Neill,
Mm-hmm.
and then others receiving votes: Mekhi Becton, Braden Smith, who's with the Colts,
Mm-hmm.
Deion Dawkins, Donovan Smith, and Lyle Collins, who's in Cincinnati now.
There's a few of these guys that could have went up that's also receiving votes. Braden Smith could be up. Deion Dawkins could be up as honorable mention. And also Donovan Smith. I like Donovan Smith.
So pretty good list. There's some interesting ones. It is interesting that injuries did not seem to ding guys
Yeah.
particularly strongly, which again I think it just backs up the idea that Baker made the biggest mistake of his life
By playing.
continuing to play because it did him no favors and made people think he can't play.
I'm literally on my phone still stuck at this comment from this veteran AFC scout.
The
on
one
Taylor.
about Lewan.
If that's him, if I'm Taylor, I'm putting that up somewhere.
Yeah, I agree. That's bulletin board material.
They
right
ain't
there.
said anything else on anybody else on
Not
any
for
other
the
tackles.
most part.
Not like this.
Not like that. No.
Ooh.
Somebody came at his neck.
Taylor, you got to go. If you ever
I mean,
gonna
you
pick
gotta
a
go.
year, you
like,
gotta
yeah,
go.
Yeah. Josh Ward of the Sports Animal will shift, talk some SEC football as media days begin next week. All those things coming up. Jay Martin, on 104.5 The Zone.
As leaders in disaster cleanup and restoration, the pros at ServPro are prepared for anything, like when that relief valve on your water heater fails and it pours gallons of water into your finished basement. ServPro is prepared for it. Or if you were like me a couple weeks ago, firing off fireworks into the air when it was super dry and you catch somebody's house on fire. I didn't do that, but I'd have called ServPro after the fact because they are prepared for that. Or a musty odor indicates you might have a mold problem and it's not your teenage kids. ServPro is prepared for that too. You need a lot more than help sometimes cleaning up, and that's why ServPro is your one-stop shop when disaster strikes. Not only do they have the equipment and expertise to clean up damage from fire, water, or mold, but they also offer a variety of construction services ranging from drywall patching and document drying all the way to complete structure rebuilds. There's just one call you need to make to bring your home or business back as good as new and as soon as possible. So if you're in need of cleanup from fire, water, or any unpleasant event, and we mean any unpleasant event, ServPro is always ready to help. Call ServPro and the official downtown Nashville operators at 800 ServPro to see how we can help you get back to like it never even happened. The number is 800 ServPro. ServPro, cleaning, restoration, and construction. Franchise independently owned and operated.
J Mart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. Rolling right through hour number 3 with Ramon Foster, Jonathan Schaefer. I'm Jason Martin. All Four Seasons Garage Doors makes the show possible every single day and makes my garage door experience a lot better, too. Last fall, I got the LiftMaster say, you want the J Mart Express, and they'll come over and put that thing in, and they'll probably charge you less because, you know, you're not me. With me, they're like, we'll put it in, but we heard that Kevin Dyson crack is going to be another 100.
Price just went up, Jay.
Oh, you want an extra remote? Nope.
We out of them, but
No,
you can
they're
pay for
excellent.
it.
They're absolutely excellent at what they do. This guy is too. Over in Knoxville with our friend Swain is our friend Josh Ward on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. Josh, how are you this morning?
Hey, doing well. Good morning.
Hey, so did I see it right? Is the SEC Media Days opening with – there's nothing that screams SEC to me quite like Brian Kelly. And if I saw it right, it looked like Brian Kelly was opening things up on Monday. And I'm just kind of thinking to myself, yeah, I might have gone a different route there, but I understand that you want to put him out there. I don't even know what he's going to say. I'm just more interested to see if he's going to talk like himself or there's going to be another accent attempt.
Well, yeah, don't you think they have Brian Kelly going first because they want to really introduce him to the SEC family? So I think that's part of the approach. But, you have Brian Kelly, you have Lane Kiffin, so Drinkwitz, he's always fun in the media setting. So I think trying to get weird to start out media days is probably the appropriate way to do things, considering it's been a really weird offseason.
Yeah, well, I guess the other thing is you've got a shot for Brian Kelly to say something that then you can ask other coaches to then repeat. We had Andy Staples on a couple weeks ago. He talks about Drinkwitz when Jeff Jarrett was hosting with me. He was saying he's the guy that could be the pro wrestling promo. If only Eli Drinkwitz could put together a program that could win. Like if only Missouri could win, Drinkwitz could be an absolute star, right?
Yeah, I kind of hope that he can at least sustain some level of success to where he's there for a while, because Missouri has become a program that just it really doesn't move the needle in Knoxville, and I'm not sure how much it does in the SEC anywhere. And it's kind of they're in the league. So if they can have a coach that has some personality and they're competitive enough, maybe that brings them back. Because when they came in with Gary Pinkel, they had some success on the field, but they've slipped away in the conversation. So that's their best shot. But he's kind of – I think he's still underrated. Drinkwitz is in terms of personality, but he'd rank very high on the list compared to other SEC coaches.
We were discussing something earlier. Media Day is coming up, and of course but the separator as far as basketball and football media days, man, that's something that has to be worked on moving forward as we go into football season. Me as a player that played in the SEC and played at the University of Tennessee, Josh, I had no idea there was a basketball media day.
It should, it should be a bigger deal. I think they should do kind of a summer event with football, basketball, baseball. Celebrate your sports. Softball is a big deal. You can put together a big event that includes multiple sports. I think still do maybe a separate football media day event because it's just such a big deal. I mean, it's a 4-day affair. I mean, which is almost ridiculous, but that's how big SEC football is. But the other sports matter, and they care about them, and they're pumping resources into them. So, yeah, I think more love should be shown for basketball. And they do the men's and women's sides together. So I think in the middle of the summer, maybe right before now, I would do a big SEC event, blow it up.
Right.
You have 14, soon to be 16 schools. Own the middle of the summer when things are quieter.
Yeah, look, I agree 1,000,000% with that. I understand why you do media days closer to the start of your season because it's like it's the last thing. It's the last word before you start to get towards the season. But if you're basketball and you're doing your media days midway through the SEC football season, that's why Moan didn't know it, and it's why I had to double check to make sure. It's like, yeah, I think they do, but no one's paying attention to it because once football happens, it's the same thing as Major League Baseball. Like, even the playoffs. Like, if they could get their season over by the end of August, they'd probably be better off because football just carries so much of the day in this country.
Yeah, when football starts to take over, it takes over. And, yeah, I think because of SEC football, really college football, that's part of the reason that we continue to hear the pitch for the idea, at least, of pushing the start of college basketball season back a little bit because it starts up and you do have some fun non-conference games, but not everybody's paying attention, of course, because of football. But SEC basketball is growing, and the investment they put into coaches which should bring in more talent, is there. Baseball is already there. Think about my idea. If you do a summer event, most often you're going to be celebrating a national champion, right? I mean, that's what's going to happen if you have your baseball conference show up to the event. So the SEC, if it's becoming one of these mega conferences and it wants to be number one, this is another way that it can stand out. But basketball is bringing a lot of talent. It's not just Kentucky anymore. Tennessee's a school that's bringing in NBA draft picks every year. Think about how long, even when Tennessee was having success before, there often weren't big names coming in. It's kind of an annual deal, from Springer and Johnson to Kennedy Chandler, now Julian Phillips. But other schools are doing this. Look at South Carolina now, getting a big-time player. So I would sell that. And I don't know if there can be from the conference standpoint, but with name, image, likeness, and opportunities to profit, I mean, there could be something in it for the athletes to make it a bigger deal too.
Josh, something that's always a big deal as far as football goes is the quarterback. We've seen Hendon Hooker named on some top 10 lists as far as the draft at the quarterback position. He's been out of some of those too. Where is he as far as his growth and what he can mean to this university? And do you believe he's taken those strides to really help Tennessee win this year?
Yeah, and Sporting News had him number 5 this week. So as high as number 5. Think about a year ago, he was the backup quarterback at Tennessee and quickly took over, of course. But now he's a top 5 to top 10 quarterback in the nation, according to enough people for us to talk about it. But to your question, what about internally? So his statistics last season were remarkable, what he was able to do in his playmaking ability. And Hendon is, I think, on the field with the personnel. He's the number one reason fans are so excited about what this season can be, because the offense is really good, but it's the first time we've really talked about the quarterback being proven coming back in more than half a decade. So for that to be the case for Tennessee fans, they're really excited. I think this offseason has been about Hendon showing he can be a leader, because last year, how could he be? He was trying to battle for a starting position that he either knew or had a pretty good idea he probably wasn't going to win right away with Joe Milton coming in and getting so much attention. So this offseason, he gets to be the leader of the offense. He has the results to back up what he's saying, so the players are going to buy in. And then on the field, let's see how his game grows. Does he show that he can complete passes over the middle more, that he can do different things within his passing game, and can he? And how does that affect what he's able to do? Because, man, he limited mistakes last year, only 3 interceptions last season. Does he try to show that he can do a little bit more for the NFL scouts, and how does that affect his game? I think those are questions going in. To add on to, you have to replace Velus Jones, who's really valuable with his versatility in the offense, and Peyton was a big play threat. So how does Jalen Hyatt come along, and Brew McCoy as an instant impact guy? That's why they brought him in. Those guys need to back Hendon Hooker up, but the confidence level is incredibly high in Hendon, and I think should be.
Yeah. What do you think about the importance and the increasing importance with the freedom that these athletes have, the NILs, the collectives, all these other kinds of things that go into it, of landing that quarterback that can then become the Pied Piper? We often talk about Ron Slay being the Pied Piper around here. When he walks around the city, people follow him and usually buy T-shirts from him out of his car. Like, things like that happen. But you look at Arch and you look at what Texas has done since Arch. You mentioned South Carolina getting a commit. Doesn't hurt that they may actually have a quarterback this year. And the same thing with Tennessee. Tennessee moving from 16th to 8th in the ESPN rankings. Nico has to play into that. How big is it to get the quarterback right so that other guys are like, yeah, I want to go play with that guy because that's going to be fun?
It changes the way people talk about you. We can talk about expectations. Quarterback affect expectations, but it changes the conversation. Whenever he puts those pajamas out, and he's planning to, right?
Yeah.
There's going to be a big pre-order. I promise. It's just going to happen. So fans are going to buy in. Now, that has to go be backed up on the field, because if it's not, then you know the way the conversation can go in the other direction. But leading up to it, it changes the way the program is viewed. It changes the way recruits talk about Tennessee. It doesn't mean everyone's going to choose Tennessee. Carnell Tate chose Ohio State. Francis Mauigoa chose Miami. But Tennessee wouldn't have been number 2 on the list if not for Nico. And I don't think Tennessee would have been number 2 against Miami if not for Nico either. I don't know if they're finalists, really. So that's an example of how things have changed. And then they do land guys like Christian Conyer, who's really important in the secondary, and maybe even more important, I would say so, Sean Davian Bradley last week, and then Cam Seldon at wide receiver. So you're starting to get some real talent around Nico to solidify the class, but perception nationally is different. They're ranked higher because of Nico, too. I mean, that is something. When you're ranked higher, they're going to talk about you more, and you have more big-name recruits who are on campus. You get thrown into those recruiting notebooks. So people are seeing Tennessee's name, at least in conversation with Alabama and Georgia, not beating them out for as many prospects. I'm not saying that, but in terms of the perception around Tennessee, it is very different than it was 12 months ago when we were talking about the challenge to get in-state prospects to pay attention to Tennessee and get highly touted prospects to even visit. Now a lot more visiting and more are committing to Tennessee.
Just looking around this class as it sits right now, it's between 1 and 5. They're top 10. I think they're sitting 6 right now, and 5 in others, and 10 in others, or 8 in others. Just in general, this class, the way it's built, it seemed like they went, or they've actually had more commits defensively. You think this is strategic in the fashion in which Tennessee plays offense, that they got to be able to have top tier guys to get the ball back? Is that how you seeing this kind of shake out this year in particular?
I think so, because they need serious help at every level. I think they got Tennessee staff got to Knoxville last year and looked at the roster, and they said, okay, we really need to upgrade all over, but man, we need some guys on the edge on defense. So they got James Pearson, Joshua Josephs last year, which was a really good start. Now to get Caleb Herring, he's a really big deal in this class. He committed earlier, and you had Nico close to that time, and now these other guys. Not that anybody's forgetting him, but do not forget about Caleb Herring, because he's a really big deal. And then to add Bradley to that, 2 guys on the edge really matters. And then Jalen Smith at linebacker. They need more speed at that position. He can run and plays at a big school, too, in Grayson. And then Conyer, I think, was a big deal for them. They've added a few defensive backs, but getting Conyer was a high priority for the staff. And that matters, too. Like, we can look at the recruiting rankings, and that's going to tell a story. But pay attention to who the staff prioritizes. And Conyer was a big deal. If they had lost him to Kentucky, and obviously hasn't signed yet, but getting his commitment, I promise, was a big deal to the staff, and same with Bradley and same with Herring. So I think the staff knows, hey, we'll be fine offensively. We want to get as much talent as we can at all those different positions, but we're going to put up points. We need to get stops, and we need to get takeaways. So how do you do that? You go get the quarterback. They didn't have enough guys on the edge. They need to be able to more consistently line the guys up that are supposed to go get the quarterback and do that. And they need more speed in the secondary. They need more guys that can run at every level. And I think they're off to a good start in this class doing that on defense.
Josh Ward, the sports animal in Knoxville, with us here. Nick Saban went on Greg McElroy's podcast, and he said something we have not discussed it on the show, but we might, especially if Moan hasn't heard it, because when he hears this, he's going to start rolling his eyes. I hate to do this. I love Saban. I'm an Alabama fan, but it says, my biggest concern about the super conferences is competitive balance. The NFL, which I was involved in for 8 years, every rule they have is to create competitive balance. They could have every team go 8-8, so at the end of every season, every team was playing their last game to get into the playoffs. They would be ecstatic. How much fan interest does that create? How much TV ratings and all the things that go into all those things does that create? Then he talks about the guardrails, the NIL, and all this kind of stuff, and says competitive balance is going to disappear. It's just like, Josh, tell me where competitive balance has ever existed in college football. In fact, I would argue that it couldn't possibly be as lopsided in the wrong direction as it has been, and it's kind of Nick Saban not wanting to say, I don't like that there's going to be potentially more competitive balance because there's more than just a few schools that can offer themselves up to recruits.
What?
Yeah, you think he's trying to throw us off the real scent?
Yeah.
Because I didn't see – it wasn't a very balanced score when Alabama was going up against Cincinnati, Michigan State, Washington, those level teams that made the playoff. They were able to get in, and then when they showed up and it was time to face the SEC teams, like, oh, yeah, well – Alabama and Georgia and Ohio State from the Big Ten and Clemson when they've been at their best, there's no balance there. And we were talking about teams that could make the playoffs. So we're talking about number 3, 4, 5, 6 in the country. We're not even going beyond that. So it just hasn't been there. My opinion is Alabama and Georgia are still leading the way in terms of talent. We know what Texas A&M just did in recruiting, so we'll see if they can get there. But there's at least an opportunity, I think, here for these programs that can rise back to the top, but it's been difficult for them. Tennessee is on that list. Miami is on that list. USC, for whatever reason, and Texas. Well, name, image, likeness will offer those schools, and they're still big-name schools. We're not talking Colorado and Georgia Tech. Can they get back from where they were 30-plus years ago? But for the other schools that we've said, the potential's there, just something's missing. Well, name, image, likeness might give them that opportunity to where Tennessee, Texas, Michigan made the playoff, but they still need more talent. Notre Dame, look at what they're doing.
Yeah.
A&M, which has had a ton of potential, that they can start to realistically make a run. And they may not get as many players as Alabama or Georgia, but you take one or two away, and you go from being a number 8, 9, 10, 11 program to number 5, 6 consistently recruiting. That's how you kind of close that gap. So competitive balance at the top has been non-existent. This at least allows maybe the list to grow a little bit larger.
Good stuff, Josh.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I told you. We can get the audio, I'm pretty sure, from that podcast. It's kind of amazing, honestly.
Josh, is he nervous?
I'm telling you, he's getting frustrated with the idea that it's going to get tougher. And I still believe within 3 to 5 years, Josh, tell me if I'm nuts. I originally said within 3, but I guarantee you, I feel like within 5, he's out of there. I just think there's nothing left for him to prove in this landscape. Trying to compete in this, that's going to get tiresome really fast.
Well, I am curious there, like you and probably like everybody else, but there's still that, is this what we want football to be? And then he started doing that better than everybody
That's right.
else. Now, I thought, to go back to the Texas A&M comments when he did that and called them out and everything that he said, I thought then he was complaining about the price. I thought that was what it was about as much as anything, and I think he's trying to restore order a little bit. But I do still wonder, privately to him, is Nick Saban saying, okay, we're going to play this kind of game. I'll lay these things out there, maybe say some things that I don't believe, and then I'll see if I can be better at you than that game. So if anything, this could be that one final change-up to keep him motivated to go a little bit longer, because he has conquered everything. He's got the most titles, and nobody's at this point really questioning if he's the GOAT. But there's one extra change to the game. Can he be better at that than everybody else before he walks away? I wonder if he's asking himself that privately.
Maybe so, and if he finds that he can't, then he will walk away, because it's going to start to tarnish. It's going to tarnish and be like,
sure,
well,
what
can you
what
do now?
pushes him out.
But
Yeah.
see,
So the results will probably, like they almost always are, the results will be what settles this at the end for Saban. I mean, his legacy is what it is. He's the best in my opinion, but you can start to create a little more separation. Like ring number 7 for Tom, now you're just starting to stack.
Yeah.
That would be what Nick tries to do.
But this is the most interesting part of it all, is the NIL side of it. Yes, if you say, okay, we're going to do money better than you. Okay, well, all right, Francis, let's go get him. If he got 11, I'm going to give you 22. Like, is money that expendable as far as, boosters?
Well, I mean, he knows they can't match oil money in Texas.
You see what I'm saying? Like, that's the determining factor. Now, that's the one thing I've stood on. It's the money side of it. Yeah, you can compete, but if I don't know. We'll have to talk. I know we're up against it. Good.
And I'll go. But by the way, maybe that's what he meant. Maybe he wasn't talking about balance on the field. He was talking about balance in what they had to pay the recruits under the table previously with those private NIL deals. Maybe that's what he's talking about, balance, not actual football.
Yeah, that's well said. Have a good weekend, Josh. Thanks, brother.
Nice, Josh.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, man. It's Josh Ward. Yeah, I figured you hadn't seen that. I had written it down, and we had not gotten to it because you know how this show goes.
I'll be honest. I don't expect Nick Saban to say anything. And he's actually
said
been chatty
a lot
lately.
This offseason in particular, and it just tells me he doesn't like what the landscape portends for what's coming.
Some people get chatty when they get nervous,
Yes.
and some people shut up.
Exactly right.
You know?
I agree with you. 615-737-1045 is your telephone number. I put that in the Slack. Maybe we can get that audio. You can play it and you can hear it in context. I didn't quote it all. It actually gets even more into everything that goes on there. But we'll come back and we'll do some heights.
Yeah.
We'll have a competition here to end the third hour. It's Jay Martin Ramon, 1045 The Zone. And let me tell you about PAI Medical. They are really helpful people when it comes to hair loss. If you or someone you care about is dealing with that, if that's affecting their confidence, maybe it's your significant other, maybe it is you, maybe it's a parent, who knows? Whatever it is, PAI Medical, they know how to help you. They're experts. There's nobody better. Surgical procedures, non-surgical solutions make tremendous differences. stuff that's non-invasive, doesn't hurt you at all. It takes 20 minutes a couple times a week for a laser treatment if that's something that you're interested in. When it comes to cost, there are affordable payment plans that fit absolutely anyone's budget. I went and saw them last fall because there were people in the building that had success, and I realized my crown was a little thinner than I wanted it to be. And we sat down, took some photos. They showed me what they felt like we could do, what the goals would be, how long it would take to achieve, all that. Still in the process because it's a gradual thing, because it's actually real. It's actually your hair. It grows. It's not an overnight thing. It's all of these things. It's different. The technology has come a long, long way. They've helped Nashville, has PAI now for over a quarter of a century. All they do is hair. They're the very best at it. Be the next one to take that plunge. 615-376-6010. You'll be so glad you called them. 376-6010. Talk to them, get their opinion, or go online and get some information at wegrowhair.com. That's wegrowhair.com.
Is this
Yeah.
Prince?
Nope. A little too heavy for Prince.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
It's
there it
Korn.
was. Corn?
Doing a cover of Cameo's Word Up.
Oh, well.
Yeah. No. You're right-ish. Like you are with Celebrity Heights and Birthdays, you're right-ish.
Right-ish.
You were in the right direction. But Haloti Nada still got through, man.
Hey, man, that nose is fine.
All right.
So,
So wonder when you're going to join the show.
Paige
Sometimes
and,
getting heights and you got to
Paige and Dr.
look around and try to get
Jason.
things from a variety of different places.
Paging Dr. Martin. Paging Dr. Martin.
Dr. Martin, will you please answer your pager?
It's kind of weird. Abby doesn't own Doc Martens.
She does.
You know what?
I get it.
Daddy.
Best dad joke of the day.
That was good. Okay.
I mean,
That's solid, Jay.
All right. All right. That'll be all.
my
Kiefer
God.
Sutherland.
Kiefer Sutherland.
This is where you try to remember who he is.
I
again.
know I am. Let's go 5'8".
5'7".
He's 5'8.5".
8 now.
Do you know who he is, Moan?
Kiefer Sutherland. Yes, I do.
I figured he was 5'7" or 5'8".
You didn't
'cause
before.
I had a chance to meet him too.
Did you?
Yeah. He performed at the Opry one night, so I had a chance to meet him.
What was it, gin and juice?
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely a
It was
Kiefer
not
staple.
that. He does some
Jack Bauer,
he
Moan.
does some good music.
Jack Bauer.
24.
Young
That's
Guns.
5'6".
Young Guns. No. Oh, my Lord.
What? Did he just guess the person that he already just guessed?
I said Jack Bauer. He goes, Jack Bauer, 5'6".
Yeah. you're such an idiot. You're such trash.
So that's now 2 today that have been all-timers for Moan. That pterodactyl thing's one of my favorite things that's ever happened in the history of this show.
I didn't know his character.
Well, I was trying to, like, again,
Mo.
go
I
back
thought we had
through.
moved past it.
The character's the same height.
It'd be all right. It'd be all right.
Mindy Kaling,
Mindy Kaling, 5'7".
5'5".
5'2.5".
Yeah.
What?
That's what I thought.
You knew she was short. She had to be short.
I didn't realize that, though.
Why did she have to be short?
Yeah,
Because you
why?
can just tell.
You height judger.
That was very scientific.
Yeah.
You can just tell.
Yeah, but eye test. Khloe Kardashian.
5'4".
No, 5'8".
Yep, 5'8.5".
5'8". Yeah,
Well,
she
she's
is the
always
tall.
dating those athletes, and
Right.
she doesn't look.
She's the one
Much
of them that's
smaller.
not small. Like
Right.
Kim's like 5'2". Courtney's like 5'1.5".
She
or
dated an
5'3",
athlete, or is it
something like
Travis Bart? Which one? I don't. You know, what? Don't
she's
care.
with
Don't
Tristan
care.
Thompson
that.
now.
Chloe used to be
Tristan
Lamar
Thompson.
Odom.
Yeah.
Lamar, and she's with
Okay.
Tristan Thompson. They're having a
All right.
surrogate baby, too.
Okay.
She's also supposed to be OJ's daughter.
Rob Kardashian.
Rob Kardashian, 5'8".
5'6".
His height is irrelevant. Richard Karn.
6'1".
Do you know who Richard Karn is?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good.
6 feet.
You want to tell me who he is?
I just told you I know who he was.
This is a banner day for you, Mo.
A man?
He's Al Borland from Home Improvement,
Yeah,
Family
I
Feud
knew
host.
that. I knew that.
What were your
I said
guesses?
6. He said 6'1".
6'1".
He's 5'9.5".
Yeah, buddy.
3-1. Come on, Patriots.
Steve-O.
Steve-O?
Jackass.
I think he's actually got 6 foot.
That's so dumb, and I laughed at it. That got me. That got me.
6 foot.
5'9".
5'10".
Meat. That's meat. 4 in a row.
4'1".
Conan O'Brien.
Conan's tall, 6'2".
6'4".
6'4".
God, you've met him.
No. He's just tall.
5'1". What the hell?
One more and I clinch already.
Barack
Jeez.
Obama.
6'2".
6'1".
6'1".
God, dog. 6'1".
Patrice O'Neal.
Rest in
God
peace,
rest
Patrice.
his soul.
Patrice O'Neal. Oh, Pitbull.
Yes.
Yeah. 5'9".
5'10".
6'4".
Yep.
He was 6'4"?
Yeah.
I was going to guess over 6 feet, but I just had to.
Bill O'Reilly.
Bill O'Reilly.
We're not taping it during the break. We're doing it live.
6'1".
6 feet.
6'4".
Yeah, I wasn't
Hey,
sure.
You take
Hey,
that.
look at me. I
You
finally
take
won
that.
one after losing 7 in a row.
What have you done for me lately?
John
Won 7 in a row.
Oates.
Oh,
No,
hey.
brother. 5'5".
5'8".
5'4.5".
Hey now.
What was I met him to? I didn't realize he was that small.
Hey,
He's about the size of a Quaker Oats can.
Wow, I don't remember him being that
When
small.
you gonna grow up? huh?
Oats, man. Oats.
I knew what you were doing.
She's a rich girl.
For a short guy, he's really maximized his potential, though. Now I just want to hear Hall & Oates music.
I do
Rest of the show.
too.
When here, I can't go for that.
I can't go.
Little Private Eyes.
I'm gonna turn it on.
You know what? Because we're all kind of taking off quick after the
7-3.
show. That's on the playlist.
That's on the playlist
today.
Let's do it.
So you got the first one. I got 7 in a row, and then you got the last two.
Hey, how's bragging count, buddy?
Friggin' great. It's awesome.
So what was that? 7 to
7-3.
7-3.
I don't be making that face.
We'll be back. Fourth
You
hour
like
of the
you were
show.
playing
Jim
Jackson.
Wyatt, 25 minutes away. J Mart and Ramon. Why did my microphone get turned off?
Because I had the wrong one.
I was here trying to say updates in the headlines
Sorry.
on the Open Championship. J Mart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone.
It is 9 o'clock. I'm Jonathan Schaefer from the Superbook.com sports desk. Braves win again 5-4 over the Nationals yesterday, winning the opener of a 4-game set in our nation's capital. Michael Harris II, Matt Olson, and Dansby Swanson, Vanderbilt product, homered for Atlanta.
Hit high and deep to left field. That is way back towards the seats. 2-0 Braves. A home run by Dansby Swanson. That's how you break out of an 0 for your last 10.
Got that right. Atlanta's won 5 of its last 7, leads the National League with 142 home runs. Dustin Johnson leads the Open tournament at 9 under. He completed his second round at a 5 under clip. Tiger Woods went 6 over in the first round. Would need a strong performance today to make the cut. Looks like he won't make it. Phoenix Suns matched the Indiana Pacers' 4-year, $133 million offer sheet for restricted free agent center DeAndre Ayton. Offensive tackle Mitchell Schwartz, a 4-time All-Pro selection, announced his retirement from the NFL after 9 seasons, won the Super Bowl with Kansas City, Super Bowl 54. For our foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once. On your home for the Titans and the Vols, this is 104.5 The Zone.
Fourth hour of the program is upon us. Final hour of the week. Here on J. Martin, Ramon, 11-year NFL vet, Vol for Life, Ramon Foster, Jonathan Schaefer, Jason Martin, at Ramon Foster, at Schaefer on Sports, at J. Mart Radio, at J. Mart and Ramon.
Friday.
G.G. Jackson. First recruit to decommit from North Carolina's hoops program since 2003. That was J.R. Smith who decided to go pro right out of high school instead of going to Carolina where he was enrolled. G.G. Jackson's number 1 pick now in South Carolina, which is what Josh Ward was talking about in the last hour.
That blew my mind.
Because you were mentioning you and Ron have been having that conversation. You were like, who does South Carolina put in the league? And I was like, well, the one guy that always comes to mind to me is Ronaldo Bachman, who the Knicks drafted. And people were like, what?
Yeah.
Like, he was a great college player.
Yeah.
But it never really worked out in the pros. And there were other guys on the board at the time. People like Ronaldo Bachman is who you took. There's one other dude I'm forgetting about in the past few years that was pretty good
from
for
South Carolina?
I thought there was one guy.
Ron's in the chat. Maybe he'll tell us or call in or text us or something. I just don't. The women's basketball program?
Well, yeah, I know about the women's program.
Yeah, that's monstrous right there. But
I got to look it up. There was somebody I thought.
I'll look it up too. But I never think of South Carolina in basketball and NBA. I just don't.
No. But there's something. There's somebody. I know that there is. So I was talking. I mentioned this to Ward. You hadn't heard it.
Yeah.
I want you to hear all of it. This was the podcast that Greg McElroy hosts and Nick Saban talking about the landscape in college football and hilariously here, actually, competitive balance. Here's that audio.
Mega conferences are probably here to stay. And, market share, there's a lot of that involved in why are we doing what we're doing. My biggest concern is competitive balance. The NFL, which I was involved in for 8 years, every rule that they have is to create competitive balance. And if they could have every team go 8-8, so at the end of the season, every team was playing their last game to get in the playoffs, they would be ecstatic, because how much fan interest does that create? How much TV ratings and all the things that go into all these things. We don't have any guardrails on what we're doing right now, So we have no restrictions on who can do what. Some people are going to be capable of doing certain things. Other people are not going to be capable. The bottom line is we'll lose competitive balance, which everything we've always done in college football is to maintain competitive balance. Same scholarship, everybody had to play by the same rules, and whether it was recruiting or whatever. So right now, that's not how it is.
So I love Nick Saban.
Boo!
I love Nick Saban. By the way, just for clarification, I looked it up. It was Sindarius Thornwell I was thinking of.
They have another.
He was
cat
the 48th
too.
pick, though.
Before
That, it would have been Alex English.
Chris Silva.
Yeah, I mean, there have been some other names.
That's what I was going to say. There's other names. Hassan Grevet.
Yeah.
Grevet.
The last guy that really, the one that really took off really would be Alex English. I mean, he was a great player. But we're talking 1976.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, Ronaldo Bachman's the one that came to mind. He was the 20th pick to the Knicks. Sindarius Thornwell was a great college player. Ended up going 48th, though. It's a little bit late. Anyway, back to Nick Saban. Everything we've done in college football is to promote college balance or competitive balance. I love Nick Saban. There is no way Nick Saban believes that statement. There's no way he doesn't know what he's saying is a bold-faced lie. Like, there is no universe in which competitive balance is least cared for than college football, a sport where the SEC has put 14 of the last 15 into a championship game, at least getting them that far. Like, that right there that's just a lie.
Okay, so let's say this. Tennessee saying that hype, man. You're right. The players got to be spread out. Kentucky saying that. Okay, Oklahoma State saying that. Texas, Baylor saying that. Miami saying that. Let's go to Arizona State. Washington saying those types of things. Alabama, no. Competitive balance. What does that mean? Where does he get the idea of competitive balance in college when he's run it for so long? The NFL side point that he made, yes, they would absolutely love for every team to be 9-8, 8-8, 7, whatever. They will love it.
So that every game, when you get to last week, everybody's getting into the playoffs, or everybody's fighting to get into the playoffs as long as possible.
But let's just even talk about the SEC as a conference. Compared to what others are doing, is not competitive. You just had two of your biggest teams leave the Big 12 and commit themselves to the SEC. We can't even say that as a conference, Nick. Like, so how do you I would love to. So what's his end all is what I'm asking you now.
Look, this is just, again, his way of not wanting to just come out and say, I don't like that other people can pay players. I don't like that other schools can pay players and that then they might not come here. It's about depth. Remember I told you it wasn't necessarily as much about the starters?
Yeah.
Because you're still going to have a great starting class at Alabama as long as you're the head coach. You just are.
Yep,
because
you are.
You're probably going to the show if you're at Alabama. Mm-hmm. You probably got a chance to play on Sundays. You probably got a chance to be drafted in the first round. Probably got a chance at multiple national championships. It's depth. It's the guys on the bench that aren't going to sit around to wait their turn.
Or they run out of gas toward the middle of the third quarter.
There's going to be less Mac Jones. Yeah. There's going to be less Brian Robinsons. There's going to be less guys like that. That's what he laments. He loves to not, like, he recruits hard, but look where they are right now in recruiting. Like, they're like 15 to 20, somewhere in that neighborhood. Alabama is, because it's a small class. Why? Because they've already got a ton of guys.
Yep.
And because it's Alabama and it's a machine and it's run that way.
Okay, let me ask you this. Before NIL really became above board, the number one tackle, Francis, he's already at IMG. He's in Florida. Do you see him without NIL going to Alabama?
Probably.
More times than not, right?
I mean, maybe. Look, Cristobal's supposedly a great recruiter.
Well, yeah.
So maybe you could get him at Miami. But right now, Napier, I doubt, could land him at Florida.
No.
Like, Napier's going to have to prove himself at Florida first before you want to commit there. But you already know if you go to Saban, you're going to a football factory that every NFL scout executive watches on a weekly basis to salivate over who can be the next guy to help lead them to a championship.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think the issue is with Coach Saban, Nick Saban, is he can't control what he had most control of, and that's the talent. That's the ability to stack guys. Like you said, James Robinson, his running back, like sticking around, because coming out, that dude was highly talented. And again, you can play Alabama real close for a half. But to your point, they can move guys.
That's right.
And move guys. Who was it that broke his leg? Waddle went out.
Yep.
And another star was born.
John Mechie was born then. Then, of course, you've got the other kid whose name escapes me for some, Jameson Williams. I don't know why that escaped me. But, yeah, I mean, you've got that. What was the biggest difference between Alabama and Cincinnati? The second half,
Ran out of
Cincinnati had to
gas.
run the exact same talent out there on every single play. Couldn't afford an injury, and those dudes were gassed.
Okay.
Maybe they don't win even with the depth, but the depth has always been the thing that separates a lot of these programs because they've got waves of warriors.
Go to the national championship game a few years back, Jason. You go from a guy that everybody loves and hurts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who comes in? Because of what, though? Talent.
Yeah.
Depth. Nobody had an answer for the kid that was all world coming out anyhow.
Like if Jalen Hurts was the entrenched starter at Bama, right? And we're in this landscape and it's 2022.
Yeah.
Tua's probably somewhere else.
Thank you, sir.
Tua's probably a starter at Oregon, or he's at USC, or he's somewhere else where they don't have a starter that had only lost one game to that point in his career and who was loved by that coaching staff, unless he's promised something.
Yeah.
But why would he sit
I
at
ain't
that
got
point
no
in time if he
reason to.
feels like he's ready to play and there's people that are willing to pay him? Like competitive, the problem with the competitive balance argument is it's never existed before. In fact, it's the most uncompetitively balanced sport by far, like that you can possibly find.
Yeah.
And if anything, this should level the playing field just a little bit. I don't know how much. I still think Ohio State and Bama and these teams are going to be dominant, but you're at least potentially pushing a few more chairs up to the table in a sport that desperately needs it. What's the biggest complaint about college football? It's Ohio State every year. It's Alabama every year. It's Clemson fatigue every year. It's Georgia now.
Yeah.
Like, there is no competitive balance.
You'd think he walked in some kid's house and said, you know what, man, because I want to, just have this sport in a really great place. I really want you, but, man, go on over there to Arkansas. Because he ain't ever did that before in the past. Why you want that to be the case right now? Is it you saying you rather eliminate NILs right now and put a cap on it? Put a salary cap on it. Is that what you're saying?
Look, he's already benefited from the way the rules are and the way he's used them, right?
Yes, he has.
Not necessarily breaking rules, but manipulating them, figuring out the best way to create loopholes and all these other things. All right. He says, it's all about maintaining competitive balance. Always has been. Same scholarship numbers. Everybody has to play by the same rules, whether it was recruiting or whatever. Now you want the rules to stay the same. And the reason why, again, and I love Saban and I hate to do this, but I have no integrity if I don't say this. He's already benefited and he's at the top of the mountain. Yeah. So now shut it down because I'm already grandfathered in. Yeah. I'm already up here and I can just show off my rings to your kid. I don't need this to level because it harms me directly here because I already have all the power. I already have all the stroke. I already have all the championships. I have the reputation. I have the walking Hall of Fame. I have all of that. So now I'm going to fight for the rights of the little guy, but in effect, it's because I'm already standing on top of Mount Everest and I don't want anybody else to be able to be here, or at least I want to look over and it still just be Kirby and Dabo and maybe Lincoln Riley, maybe Ryan Day, and that's about it.
And what's wild is, in this era of NIL, the parents are smarter, the kids are smarter, and guess what? The same way we were talking about Bernard Pollard and Lamar Jackson, these young guys don't give a damn about what you did if it don't benefit them right now. Them rings are cool, but I ain't got one. My social media is lit right now. And that's what they care about. And guess what? If the money helps them get that and elevate it a little bit more, then that's a part of it. This is the changing aspect of what's next in college football and sports.
No, I agree. We'll come back. We will change over to talk some Titans football with Jimmy Wyatt at TennesseeTitans.com. Never want to miss that. It's next here on The Zone. That's right. I've already got 2 greatest hits albums of Hall & Oates ready for the drive on our way to Johnson City after the show for Abby's med school reunion.
Hey, med school reunion. That is an elite class right there, man.
That's why I had to buy a suit yesterday.
Oh, spending cash.
I got to bleep you Aaron Rodgers next week out of it, too.
Did this dude just did this?
Hey, he did.
Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline brings us Jim Wyatt of TennesseeTitans.com. Good morning, Jimmy. How are you?
Good morning. How you guys doing today?
Doing pretty good. We've seen some of your training camp previews and things like that popping up as we're getting closer and closer. I think we're 11 sleeps away now from camp opening up. And let's start with this because Jeremy Fowler's been putting out these NFL Insider executive lists and stuff over the last couple of weeks. The offensive tackles finished up the list today, and Taylor Lewan was 14th. There was a scout that said he's still living off his name for the most part. As of late, his play has not backed up the hype, I guess is what you would say. One of your training camp previews is about the O-line. So what do you think of that critique of Taylor at this stage of his career?
Yeah, I mean, I will say that I think Taylor would be the first to tell you he didn't live up to expectations last year. He's coming off of the knee, and I think he feels like he has something to prove still. I mean, I did my preview. I went all the way through it, and I kind of put on the keep an eye on, and I said Lewan. It was the last kind of column in mine, and said it's hard to believe we're at the end of the preview. I've hardly even mentioned him. And the reality is, he is a big part of this team in 2020. I should say he could be a big reason why this team could be good this year if he returns to form. He wasn't like that last year, and I think that was proven right out of the gate against Arizona. He missed a game at Seattle, missed a game against San Francisco. I don't think he played at the level he wants to play at. And year 9, it's hard to believe is in year 9, he does have something to prove. I think he deserves more credit than maybe some people give him. I don't think he can stake claim to being one of the top left tacklers in the league after coming off of last year, but I think he's still capable. And, he talked this offseason just about, how tough it was last year and just mentally the stuff he was going through and how he feels like a different person this year. So now he's got to back it up and prove that he, deserves to be mentioned among the top because he wasn't there last year. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and he missed some crucial games, obviously, and I think he's missed 16 games in the last couple of years. You mentioned in your spotlight part in the offensive line is Dylan Radins. Do you think that right tackle is actually a possibility for Radins at this stage? I know what you write, and I know we've talked about it on this show as well, but certainly didn't get much of a sample size from anything last year, and it's got to be – and we all believe O-line in general is the biggest question mark about this football team entering the year.
Yeah, I agree, and that's with questions at receiver, but I think O-line when you're missing 2 starters and you have some unknown quantities to replace them, and I say unknown because a lot of these guys have not done it, week in and week out, and Radins is used to playing on the left. He's worked at a number of spots, and I think there's no doubt that right tackle is where they need him to emerge and leave, no doubt. I think that's why you pick him, is to be not only the starter this year, but the starter for years to come. So, when I look at the line, I think Radins is the favorite to win that right tackle job. They need him to win it going away, and I think at left guard is Jamarco Jones and Aaron Brewer. Jones has has some experience. He was brought in here to compete. I just have got a hunch that Brewer, because he's been in the system, because he's such a good athlete, because he's gotten better, I've just got a hunch that Brewer's going to win that job. But that's what the competition's all about. And I think at both of those spots, one of the things I mentioned is that, I think you let those guys compete. And I think if you had to make me predict what's going to happen here before camp starts, I think Radin wins right tackle. I think Brewer wins left guard. But if those things don't play out like they hope, there's always a possibility to go out and get somebody else too, and that's something the GM has done in the past. Remember Dennis Kelly way back in the day? He made a move before the season started, and I think that's always an option this year as well.
As far as Aaron Brewer goes, you actually had written a piece about him before you actually got to the O-line preview, and he's really in a tight spot considering, you have him versus Jamarco Jones as far as that left guard position goes, but it's also in a position where he could be Ben's replacement next year, or they can go get another guy to replace him. Just how crucial of a year is this for him to actually get into the starting lineup as far as Aaron Brewer goes? Because he's been around for a few years now.
Yeah, and when they've called to him, I think he's done a good job. I mean, he made a quick spot start against the Ravens a couple of years ago, and I thought he did well. He's he's kind of got that mindset and plays the way they want their interior linemen to play. Again, he's not the biggest guy, but I think what he lacks in size, he kind of makes up for in other areas. He's versatile as well. I mean, I rave about Jones because he can play all over the line. Well, at least Brewer can play some inside. He can play center. He can play guard. He gives you some options. And I do think he's got a chance to kind of seize a role this year and put himself in a position moving forward to sticking around a little bit.
When you look at this group before camp starts, and they're going to have some challenges because they have joint practices too, but are you a little nervous about it just in general? Because you want Taylor out there all of practice because he needs rep with whoever's going to be new next to him. You want Ben out there also, but he's an older guy and probably needs more rest. But you got to kind of say to yourself, they need to come together fast. They need to come together as a unit, however 5 or the 6th guy that they're going to need to make it through this season, because Derek coming off this injury, Tannehill trying to figure out what's going on with him, and just the receivers in general, like the leaning on the run game, because the establishment of either the young rookie or the veteran coming back from the ACL, I just don't know how much outside help they're going to get.
Yeah, and I do think that the off-season practices against the Bucks and the Cardinals are critical because that's when you can really evaluate guys. They have tried Radens at a couple of different spots. Since he got here, I think this is the year you put him at right tackle and say go get it. And he needs to be out there on a regular basis. I think you'll let Jones and Brewer compete at left guard, and then as far as the other guys, you need to get Lawan ready to play, and reps in camp are going to help. I think the same with Nate Davis. I'll say this about Nate Davis, a guy we hadn't touched on yet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he wasn't around this off season, but he came in for mini camp and he looked as good a shape as I've ever seen him. I mean, he looked like he's around the same size, but from a physical standpoint, I think he's maybe turned in, add a little bit more muscle, look stronger. Ben Jones, we know what he can do, and we know he's fought through injuries. I do think maybe let him get some good quality work against the other teams, but I don't know that you run him in the ground as much as tough a guy as he is, and how much he's going to be there when it matters.
Jim Wyatt, TennesseeTitans.com with us here on J. Martin Ramon. Derrick Henry, we read Glennon's piece, and we've talked about it for a while about, look, can you bring down the workload of this guy a little bit? Obviously, we want to see what he looks like once the games get started. We know how hard he's working and some of the things that he's saying. He wasn't happy with how he played in the comeback game in the playoffs, and we understand how much of the offense is running through him. But do you think some of these other guys, they're going to try to find ways to limit his touches at all, or is it just because of the way he runs, they're still going to try and get him 400 touches or whatever it is that's necessary? And even if there's a risk to it or diminishing returns considering his age.
Well, I mean, the thing about Derrick, I look at him the same way I did, when DeMarco Murray was here and Derrick was first coming in. I mean, he doesn't want to leave the field. I mean, that's one of the reasons why Derrick, was really spotty on how much he played coming in, is because DeMarco would, he'd wave him off when he was coming in from the sideline, because I think DeMarco, just wanted to play. And this clearly Derrick wants to play. I mean, he doesn't want to hear anything about a diminished workload or give him a breather. I mean, he would carry it 350 times this year again. But I think it certainly makes sense to take some of that pressure off him. I think a lot depends on how he does. I mean, there are a lot of factors when you talk about how much is he going to play or will his carries get reduced. I think if he's productive and running well, then his carries are going to still, he's going to get a heck of a workload. I think if the team is ahead in games and they can just pound it, he's going to get a heavy workload. But what happens if they fall behind? No, he's not going to carry it as much. I don't think he's, they've got other backs who I think could earn opportunities on third down, especially if they're playing catch up in some games. I think I like to look at Dontrell Hilliard. I think Hassan Haskins is capable as well. I think those guys are your 2, 3 in some type of order. And, so I just think there's so many factors with him. But the first is just how he performs and what type of games they're in. And whether or not lets his carry total add up like it has in years past.
Are you sensing from just mailbags or people hitting you up on social media or anything like that, is there like legit concern surrounding Treylon Burks? Are people kind of jumping to conclusions, or are they being more, we're going to wait and see, give him a chance, not overreact to a couple of unflattering headlines and things like that?
I get the sense a lot of people are overreacting. I mean, it's a lot of people. I mean, unfortunately, people are making judgments on him based on what they're seeing on Twitter or a quick headline that they see on the internet, and they're assuming this guy's going to be a bust based on, what's happened in May and June. I mean, I think it's unfair. I mean, yes, he's got off to a slow start. Some of it had to do with the asthma. Obviously, he had some other issues going on that he had to work through. Everything I have heard about him since really the time the off-season program ended, with him getting some extra work after they kind of broke camp, I think has been positive. And I expect him to be ready to go when camp starts. If he has some setbacks in camp, I mean, that's when you get concerned. Even then, I think it's still too early just to write him off. But he's gone through some early struggles. But I think people just need to relax a little bit, need to give him a chance. He was a heck of a player in college and doing it against, top competition. And I think once he settles in and kind of finds his way, I think you're going to see why this team drafted him when they drafted him and why a lot of people thought so highly of him in the draft.
Jim Wyatt here with us this morning, and your first group that you did was the quarterbacks. Like you say, everybody want to write off Treylon, but there's another guy they want to write in.
Yeah, that's right.
that's Malik Willis, man. But your battle to watch was Woodside versus Willis, and the thing about Woodside has been this. Logan Woodside is this. The last couple of years, everybody's bragged about he's fought everybody off, as far as the backup position goes. I think most people feel differently about Malik as far as this battle goes. Where do you see this 1-2 punch or this 2-3 punch going throughout camp, and what have you seen from either one of them as OTAs and minicamp kind of pastors?
Well, Woodside's been steady. I mean, he just keeps doing what he has done since he's been here. Work hard, and he's gotten better with his footwork, his technique. He's just kind of a baller. He doesn't get to play a lot, obviously, but he's a football junkie. Teammates really like him. I mean, he works hard, and he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. Malik, I'll say this: I watched him watched some of his tape at Liberty. Knew he was really had a strong arm and really good athlete. Was excited to see him when he got here. And he actually has looked better than I thought he would early as far as his arm strength. And I like everything about him as far as his work ethic. He's always the first guy out there, getting ready for practice. He's kind of one of these cheerleader types that rallies guys around him. With all that said, he's got a ways to go. I mean, he's not used to being under center, not used to really being in the huddle. He's still got some technique stuff he needs to clean up. While he has a strong arm, he's not always accurate with it. And I think the way it's going to play out, and again, this is what the competition's about. You always have guys that that exceed expectations. But you're asking me what I've seen so far, what I kind of expect to happen. I think Logan Woodside ends up being the 2. I think Malik Willis ends up being the 3, and I think I'd be surprised if that's not the case. I think it's a roll of the dice. Sure, it's hard to carry 3 quarterbacks in the league. That's why not many teams do it. But I think you run the risk of parting ways with Woodside that somebody's going to get him, and then you're faced with a situation where you got a rookie quarterback you're thrown in the fire too early. So I think Woodside. It's going to be fun to watch in the preseason. It's going to be fun to watch Willis play. It's going to be fun to see how Woodside looks, because I can't imagine Tannehill's going to play much, and it's going to give us plenty to all talk about. But when all's said and done, I think I expect it to be Tannehill, Woodside, Willis, and then he just kind of develops, during the course of the season. Maybe you find a way to get him in and do some things in special packages, but a lot remains to be seen there.
You can also use that to reference Caleb Farley, and that's one where the Titans are really hoping, because they've got that. You know what else they've got on defense, and the linebackers, you might want to see a little bit of strength there. Maybe some of those guys are going to round a little bit more into form this year, but you know what you got up front. You know what you got in Fulton. You know what you got in Byard. Molden came and took grand steps because he was called into action. Maybe better. You're getting Rashad Weaver back. What is your sense right now of Caleb Farley, who he's definitely got to be on that list of dudes you want to see a lot from positively coming into camp?
Yeah, and I'm sitting here working on a mailbag for tomorrow. One of the questions was about how Farley and Molden and Fulton, all those guys, did this offseason. And the reality is they didn't do a whole lot, because Farley was in the yellow jersey, Fulton was in the yellow jersey, Molden worked a lot on the side, wasn't out there a lot. So I wish I could sit here and say all those guys had great off seasons. But they just were held back. I do. With all that said, I mean that was the plan for Farley, is in his recovery, and not to have him do too much too soon. I think he did exactly what they wanted him to do. I'm curious to see whether he still wore a knee brace at the start of camp. Physically, I mean, he looks the part. He looks stronger. I know Mike Vrabel made a kind of a crack at him earlier. No longer looks like his jersey's hanging on a coat hanger. I mean, he's gotten stronger, and he's got a wit about him. I mean, he even responded to that comment. He just kind of says every time he sees Vrabel, it gives him a good firm handshake to let him know he's there. I mean, so he has a little cockiness to him, a little swagger to him. Now he just needs to stay healthy and play. I mean, he definitely is physically. I say he's physically capable of doing it. He has all the tools to do it. He's just got to get past the knee. He's got to get past the things that have slowed him down in the past. And if he's able to do that, I think he's got a chance to be really special. But I just don't know. I haven't really ever seen him full go 100% out there on the field. And hopefully we'll start seeing signs of that in camp.
So I asked Coach Mack yesterday which of the rookies he thinks could contribute early to this team, maybe earliest of the group. And I know some fans might have wanted to hear Malik Willis, but we knew that wasn't going to be the name. He said Roger McCreary. What would you say?
McCreary's a good one, and he's in that group of guys who are all competing for playing time. And I was impressed with him. I think I'd probably go Chiga Okonkwo, just because I think he's going to have. Austin Hooper's going to catch a heck of a lot of passes, but I think Okonkwo, based on what I saw this offseason, I think he's going to make some impact plays for this team. So I may go. I think McCreary's a good one. I may go Okonkwo.
As far as the offense goes, too, so you've hit O-line, quarterback, and running back. As far as the passing game, have you seen anything that indicates that Tim Kelly is going to be a guy that kind of get this group over the top when it comes to having a very strong passing game?
Not yet. I mean, so far I've seen him work with the tight ends, and him and Luke Steckel that's where Tim Kelly spent most of his time, just in individual drills working with Luke. What he's doing behind closed doors, what it's going to look like maybe when you start putting game plans together, that kind of still is a bit of a question mark. Schwartz was in the same kind of boat when he came in last year.
Mm-hmm.
People were always watching what he was doing at practice and wondering what he was doing behind closed doors. I think the same thing is going to be going on with Kelly. I mean, Todd Downing's running the show, there's no doubt, but having a guy like Kelly and his voice and his mind and giving you different ideas to be better in certain areas, I think is going to be valuable. But exactly what it looks like, hard for me to say right now. I mean, I've heard so many good things about him, always impressed with what he was able to do, with what he had at, his disposal, where he's been in the past. But it's hard to know what his impact is going to be and what his fingerprints might look like on the offense. I think it's still going to be Downing running the show again, but it's good to have him around.
So
go ahead, Mike.
I was just going to ask you, speaking of coaches, Coach of the Year, is there any pressure on Vrabel this year as far as, getting back or staying at that point of his career? Like, that's a huge honor considering the talent that's in the league at that head coaching position.
Well, I guarantee he's got pressure on himself. I mean,
Okay.
I see all these silly, odds and things. They got Vrabel on like potential odds of being the first coach fired and stuff like that.
Wow.
Which is just silly. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that you come up with off season. I mean, he just got a contract extension. He's going to be here for a long time, but there's no doubt that he's a competitive guy, just like John Robinson. They want to win. Don't ever ask those guys about windows of opportunity because they expect to win every year. They don't think this window is closing anytime soon. But this team does have some pretty special players that are around, that some of them may not be around a whole lot longer. So you want to seize the opportunity while you have the Derrick Henrys on this roster. And when you have a quarterback like Ryan Tannehill, who has played in this league for a while, is certainly capable, but needs to make the most of the guys around him. And you have some other talent that is capable of making you really good. Mike Vrabel wants to win. He wants to win now. There's no doubt. So I'm sure he's putting a lot of pressure on himself to make sure, they capitalize on what they've got on this roster for 2022.
So since you mentioned Tannehill, one quick one, because I know the fans are always interested in this. Emmanuel Sanders is 35. He's still a free agent. There's some of these other guys out here that a lot of them are injury risks or all this other kind of stuff. Barring injury to somebody that's currently on the team at the position, do you think this is going to be the squad that Vrabel and John Robinson run into the season, meaning not going after another potential wide receiver veteran guy to help shore out this group?
Not necessarily. I mean, I need to see how some things play out. And obviously Birch has got to take a big step in camp. Robert Woods, again, he's not one of those guys. I've only seen him with the knee brace on since he's been with the team. If he's healthy, he's going to be really good. Question marks with Birch. You've got some other young players that have to step up. Kyle Phillips is one of them. I think Nick Westbrook-Akina has been the best receiver this offseason. He's still young and finding his way. So I think there are question marks that make me think that bringing somebody else in is a real possibility. It's just a matter of when. I mean, you mentioned Sanders. I think Sanders and Will Fuller are the two guys that I think about most. But Fuller's been hurt so much, and you don't want another situation where you're bringing a guy and then early in camp, and then you're taking reps away from the young players. I think you'll let the current group show you what they've got, and then as you get closer to the season, if you feel like you need help, that's when you go out and get somebody else. But you can never predict whether somebody's going to stay healthy or not. But the last thing you'll want is to bring in somebody and have him have another situation like last year, like Julio, where he's in and out. You want somebody you can count on, and I think that's what you'll be looking for if you're not happy at the end of August.
Yeah, you're not signing somebody to be in the med tent,
right? Basically,
is what you're saying. Like that's not what you want. All right, makes sense. That's good stuff, Jim. We appreciate it, brother. Have a great weekend.
Okay, y'all have a great weekend. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you too. Yeah, what he's saying right there, in effect, is, I wouldn't rule it out.
Right.
But they're going to see what they've got first.
Yeah.
And these guys might still be sitting there. I'm on record again. I think Emmanuel Sanders can help this team. He's the only one of that list that I really like because all the other guys are a massive injury risk. Sanders has won a lot of football games. He's been known as a good teammate everywhere he's gone.
Yes.
He strikes me as exactly – you add him to Robert Woods, I think you just improved your locker room.
I think Will Fuller, post-suspension, will be signed to us.
He will.
Where.
He will. We'll come back. We will finish up the show. Hey, man, I saw a building made out of books.
Oh, what?
It was several stories high. Back in a moment.
That was good.
Bobby Tree.
It's been just like you would expect. The fire hose is fully inserted in my mouth here, and we've been blowing and going. And so it's been just like you would expect. The fire hose is fully inserted in my mouth here, and we've been blowing and going.
Easy, Brent Venables.
We need
Got caught in a loop. What happened?
Venables.
You got caught in something.
In the
Apparently
water.
a fire hose.
Lord of mercy.
Reminded me of that kid that got caught in the fire hose in the UHF movie.
Blowing and going.
That's going to be the most obscure reference that's made all day.
Yep.
Anywhere in the country on Sports Talk.
But if you
Radio.
get it, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Come on, man.
IYKYK.
Kramer prior to being Kramer.
If you know, you know, and I don't know. It's Friday.
If you don't listen to Hall & Oates at some point today, you've done it wrong.
Blowing and going.
I see you, Ron.
Ron and Andrew.
I see you, Ron.
Y'all get Venables. That wasn't me. That wasn't us. Who would ever put the water hose in their mouth like that, though? Who's ever referenced that?
What he meant to say was...
He's saying it was a fire hose, right?
We're so busy, I'm drinking from a fire hose and using that phrase, but unfortunately
he didn't
for
get it
him, didn't work out.
Come on, man. Water hose.
Can't even get it out, man.
Ron Slay says in the chat, that's the attitude going into the weekend, huh? The answer to that is...
Yeah.
That's it.
The water hose firmly planted in my mouth. Oh, my God. What is wrong with these coaches? Venables, he ain't even that tight.
Look, here's the thing. You saw how maniacal that guy was on the sidelines, the defensive coordinator for Clemson.
Yeah.
You think talking is his specialty?
No, it ain't. It's not, Shafe. I'm a degenerate. I can admit that. But, man, what phrasing?
Slay says, I take that over people with feet in hands. I know exactly what he's talking about.
You are too energized from your midnight sleep. Okay, go back to bed, Ron. Oh my God, feet
So
and hands.
Tigers done at best because Dustin's -9. He finished +9. He's 18 shots off. That's at best. Dustin's not in the lead anymore. Cameron Smith is at 10 under. So I saw Tigers interview.
Yeah,
he was basically saying, "Man, I've been playing at St. Andrews. I've been blessed enough since '95. That's why he cried on the way up 18 because he knows. He said might not be able to play here the next time they come back here, meaning." I'm probably near done here.
Well, the course is probably rejoicing, too, from the way he beat it up last time, you know?
Yeah.
Like, his courses everywhere that had to be reworked and rebuilt and stretched out, right, because of Tiger. The grasses are probably just rejoicing, Jay. Yay.
Well, the old course, and Tiger obviously respects the history of golf and all of that, but he will not be playing this weekend. That much I can promise you.
Yeah.
Spieth had a nice day, so he's going to be around for the weekend and in contention. But DJ right now is the guy outside of Cam Smith. I mean, Cam Smith's still playing. He's 10 under, but Dustin's in the clubhouse with a 67, 9 under. So we'll see what happens over the weekend. Next week, SEC Media Days. People will be saying stuff.
And doing things.
Will Brian Kelly try to, play off the accent by doing it again and then saying, I was having fun with you guys.
You better bring some gumbo and a po' boy.
3HL Folk will be there.
Yeah, they will be there.
We'll get reports during the morning from them.
Yep.
The greatest sports town in America, Atlanta.
Nashville, Tennessee.
There you go. For Ramon Foster, Jonathan Schaefer, I'm Jason Martin. Hey, guys, what do sprinters eat before a race?
Bananas?
Nothing. They fast.
And remember, your Twitter fingers, your mic, and your dad jokes are always hot.
I can feel it all the way down in my plums.